more even games, because yesterday's games were, for some, very one-dimensional. I'm here to talk to you about yesterday's games and today's games and the tournament as a whole. My panel, I have a lovely panel full of, well, 2 Americans anyway, BSJ and Kyle. Black, you're supposed to keep them apart from each other a little bit there.
That's why I'm in the middle. I'm the wall.
The wall between the bias.
Yep.
Yep. Yesterday's games, we had a bunch of 2-0s. Kyle, you had some harsh words prepared for LGD?
Oh, well, I just felt like I cast that series. I don't think I was harsh enough. I messaged a few people and talked with a few pros when I got back to the hotel. And I'm like, was LGD playing terribly? Or was it just me? And they're like, oh, no, they started laughing. And look, I got Ame Slark, like, teleporting top when he's dominating a Centaur. Like, you look at Black Smirk. He knows he'd never do that.
I'll take that as a yes, indeed. But yesterday's games, what are your thoughts, Brian?
I just feel like they were trying to force everything.
Yeah.
Like, LGD was just chill. You're a Slark with 3 levels ahead. Like, there's a lot of times in the game of Dota where the hardest thing to do is just to say, I don't need to do anything, just farm, just chill. And usually teams of LGD's caliber, you just don't see that happening. Like, he's ganking mid with no ultimate. Like, I'm a Slark player myself, so he's the guy I'm watching. And it's like, you've made all those mistakes before, and it feels like that's something that's just way below his skill level. So I feel like EG's stepped it up over the course of the tournament. I feel like LGD has, you know, gotten worse or so, like looked less impressive as the tournament goes on. So it's time to find out like where that puts both these teams. I feel like it's going to be a good series.
Did you just think like LGD was pressured by? I don't think they know how to play against Arc Warden, honestly.
Yeah.
So they just like pressured themselves way too much into thinking like, oh, what are we doing now? We need to finish this game more quickly, whatever. Just just ban it out today against EG. Yesterday you already lost 2 times, and then I think we will see like the strong LGD back.
Dude. I mean, Forward lost to EG's Arc Warden twice. They took the 1 game. It wasn't played. There's no way you give EG Arc Warden. Like, you tried. You know, you did good. I think their second draft certainly could have taken that game off Secret. I think it should have if had they had maybe BSJ Slark. But alas, it was Ame. And yeah, you don't play against that hero anymore, folks. Just straight up Dota. Nothing can replace an Arc Warden.
But you did see a Slark win yesterday, BSJ.
That is a good point. That was against Drow lineup with no like stuns that he can't get rid of. So the problem was in the other game against the Arc Warden, he was also against a Shadow Demon Lion, 2 heroes that he can't remove their stuns or disables, and that makes it a lot harder to play. But I said at the tournament, at the start of the tournament, I thought there'd be some Slark picks, but I didn't think it would be because of Arc Wardens. So I guess that's something I don't want to see today because I don't want to see any more Arc Warden.
Yesterday, the series, of course, where Slark did win was Virtus.pro versus NIP. It was a very dominant series for Virtus.pro as well. It seems like PPD keeps running into that brick wall, Kyle.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's something to be said about that. Like, personally, I experienced that playing EG as part of Complexity, where, you know, we just couldn't beat them. And it gets to a point where you question, okay, you played them straight up now. You've played them with a pocket strat. You've done the in-between, but you still can't win. And when we finally pulled it out, and I think it was the Epicenter Major Quals, you know, I got kicked right after. So you never know. Maybe it's a good thing for PPD. It gives them job security to just keep dropping to VP. I thought they played great, personally, better than I expected. But VP's just, them and Secret just seem like they're on another level right now.
Yeah, and they will, of course, play today against Team Secret. VP Secret will be... I'm ready for it. Hope that everybody else got their voices prepared as well, because I know the guys here can get pretty loud. Black, yes. All right, thank you. Proving my point right there. Yesterday, the crowd got pretty loud as well, and we thought they were going to get loud because TNC was going to play, well, they played NIP, but it seemed like they kind of switched from cheering for TNC to cheering for Mind Control.
Yeah.
Mind Control show? Yeah, especially game 1. I mean, what can you say?
If you poll the Liquid players, you know, because Miracle, Kuro, they get a lot of the shine for Liquid success, specifically that run at TI7. But if you ask the players on Liquid, they'll tell you Mind Control is who they consider the best and most skilled among them. And I think he demonstrated that probably for the first time we've seen this season, just with that incredible act performance. Probably, like, that was the best we've seen this season, easily.
Also, all the other axes that we saw, what made his performance even better, before his games, they missed every spell after having a perfect laning phase, and he just like made short work of the entire lineup of TNC. So
I think a lot about axes is like the confidence, like just knowing.
Just go in, or they also know the range. They already cast time everything. No, it's not so easy to actually play Axe and get good calls off if you're not comfortable with the hero.
Against good players, too.
A couple of blind calls as well in there. It's just a joy to watch. And of course, NIP did move forward, so we're going to see them again today against the winner of our first series. Am I saying that right? Yes, I am saying that right. You might have just heard a horn, and that can only mean one thing. And that is that the teams are already ready to take the stage here in the Axiata Arena for the Kuala Lumpur Major.
Oh, that was so fun.
The chips were down last DPC circuit, but they found an answer and shocked the world by introducing Fly and S4, claiming an unexpected third place at TI8. Although unchanged from last season, they headed to Hamburg a man down. But match-winning Maverick Sumail returns for the major, and it's time to get down to business. Their season starts here, introducing the NA Regionals champions, Evil Geniuses. Welcome on stage, Evil Geniuses. They set fire to low expectations by exploding back onto the DPC in the second half of last season, making it all the way to the TI8 Grand Finals in Vancouver. Rest is for the weak, and they unleashed their wrath on the Chinese regionals to arrive in Kuala Lumpur as China's biggest threat. Introducing PSG.LGD. Welcome on stage, PSG.LGD.
LGD coming from an easy Group C, top one in their group, and yesterday falling to Secret to be in the lower bracket. Evil Geniuses has played a lot more series, but also they've only lost one series this tournament. The series against NIP on the Tuesday, of course. And here they are. Feel like this is kind of like a rematch because hello, Arena as well. We have LGD versus EG. This was also the third place decider at the International 2018.
Yep.
And at that point, LGD was victorious, 2-0. Earlier that same tournament in the group stages, they were in the same group and EG 2-0'd LGD. Both of the teams have not changed rosters. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do here on stage because both teams have had a different route to get to this point. LGD dropping to Secret, of course, yesterday in a bit of an uncharacteristic fashion, and EG only dropping one series so far against Ninjas in Pajamas, which many people would say is they lost to themselves more than anything else. Brian.
Yeah, I feel like both these teams are their own worst enemy thus far, and I feel like EG's had like 3 series to come back and figure it out. You know, we talked to Fly after his first game on the lower, or first series in the lower bracket, and you can just see the change that they've made, and I really hope to see the same changes in LGD's style. Like, just keep the game simple, like keep what you know, don't try to get too cute.
Yeah, I agree. I feel as well, that long tournaments like this are about when a team peaks. I think LGD just didn't face the same challenges EG did. They've taken out, I would argue, 3 of the top 6 teams at this tournament, at least top 8 in Fnatic, Forward. They lost to NIP, of course, but you still learn a lot from that series. And I think that they're on the rise, and from what I saw yesterday, I think PSG.LGD has gotta come in and ban the Arc Warden, first of all, but also just play a bit more solid.
So here's my theory.
All right.
I'm just spitballing here, but why I think EG is going to win over LGD, although I'm a big LGD fan, their beacon of hope has just arrived a couple of days ago, which is, of course, Phil.
That's true.
Yeah, he has arrived, and at the same time, LGD is missing their coach, who was a huge part of their success at TI. So I'm a bit worried for them.
Yeah. I mean, we saw them at the Singapore event. I was there. It was a long time ago. But they were really off. And partly that was because of their vacation. But the lack of a coach, I think, really hurts you in an event like this when there's so many stats, there's so much detail and things to study that I don't know where you really go if you don't have that person to guide you and develop a strategy.
And for PSG.LGD, of course, as well, it was their coach that was the drafter. He set down the chair and basically moved his pawns as he wished.
Mm-hmm.
It will be interesting to see who is going to come out on top, because this is an elimination match, meaning that the person or the team that loses here ends top 6 the first major. And going further, going all the way, I believe that if you win the whole thing, you are about guaranteed for the international.
Yeah. Almost impossible to not go at that point. Even the second place, I think, is almost guaranteed as well.
Yeah, TI, the team that showed up was LGD when it counted, and now it's like I know EG was salty. Like I've talked to Bulba especially, and they were, even though they got 3rd place, TI sounds pretty nice and all, but they were not happy. So this is kind of like their chance for redemption in the short term. You know, it's obviously for the 5th, 6th place here, but this is LGD, the team that beat them in the international. We're in a draft for game 1.
We are in the draft. Before we head there, X-Nova is getting a love from the crowd. We talked a little bit about which team we thought would be the crowd favorite here. And we know that EG has a lot of fans, especially here in Malaysia. But I think X-Nova, just by himself, can pull PSG.LGD up to that same level with the loudness of the crowd here.
Yeah, probably mid-1 and X-Nova are like the top. And then a close second is Mind Control.
Yeah. It'll be... we see...
No Arc Warden ban yet.
Yeah. I'm sure...
Okay, there it is.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay.
If there was you don't need a coach to tell you that playing against Arc Warden's a bad idea.
Well, you'd say that, but yesterday PSG.LGD did want to try their odds against a team playing Arc Warden. But against Arteezy, you just cannot let that hero through. So we do see that as a first phase ban coming out here. First pick going the way of EG and a Radiant side for PSG.LGD.
You know what I'm real salty about? You remember that game he played? This Arc Warden had like 994 GPM, this like record. There's no replay, dude. It's unavailable.
That's how they keep him with the record. It's hard to beat him if you don't know what he did.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy. Which other heroes are we going to see that are highly contested heroes? Because both teams have a little bit of a different playstyle. We see a lot of Centaur on the side of PSG.LGD. They love having 2 of those strong, buffy frontliners, if you will.
I mean, Centaur is probably just going to be first picked by whoever can get their hands on it. It's just too good right now.
Not to mention Axe.
Yeah. With Arc Warden ban, there's these extra heroes in.
It's so hard to find, it's like that old commercial, where's the beef? You need something big and strong that can initiate, engage a fight, sort of act as a meat shield. And Centaur specifically just also gives your entire draft this massive reach advantage, plus super strong in lane.
Whoa, Terrorblade first.
Starting out with the Terrorblade.
Okay, like speaking about EG, it makes a lot of sense. Because they want to play around Artur and making sure he has the super hard carry.
I think
someone get that guy's side. Take that down.
Take it down.
Take it down.
I was going to say.
Before it's too late, please.
Terrorblade, we don't really hear a cheer for Terrorblade picking that up, but maybe in the hands of Arteezy, that does deserve one.
I think they assume they're going to get Axe or Centaur, so they don't really care which one they get unless LGD decides to take both here. So they think Terrorblade's the most highly contested carry left in the pool.
And this is, not to throw shade at Bulba, but my biggest criticism in a way of the way he drafts, but it's really just a style difference, I suppose. If you look at their Dota buff, the games they've played, where they don't get Arc Warden, the next best for them is always Terrorblade. And they just say, you know, we're going to just build around this hero that we believe in, Silencer Centaur in response. But as you said, I mean, they probably can just go for an axe if that's what they prepped.
Yeah.
It just, if you're LGD, you should be ready for a Terrorblade, just like they were ready for Arc Warden yesterday.
Question what the response is going to be.
Yeah, we've had quite a few crit axes being played here for EG so far. And of course S4 as well.
But both S4 as well as Chalice, I think. They had this really good start on Axe, but after that they couldn't really transition into the mid game with it. They missed a lot of crucial spells, and just overall on teamfight they looked a bit lost. So it's probably not as high of a priority as it was before. Saying that you just pick it up though.
Another hero still in the pool that both teams have favorited, that I am actually expected to see banned in the next phase, is the Undying.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially against Centaur, Undying just makes team fighting so easy. You just drop a tomb and all of a sudden Centaur's forced to use Stampede defensively. If, God forbid, you charge forwards onto a high ground tomb, like, you really just can't play the hero anymore. Blinks will always be cancelled. You're never going to get a stun off.
As well as Silencer. Silencer hates playing against Undying too. Like,
yeah.
He can't really do much against him at all. Not in the lane, not in the mid game, not in team fights.
Yeah, and looking back at that game too, we've been talking about a lot between PSG.LGD and Secret. I feel like that game too, LGD should have won solely due to the fact that they were crushing all 3 lanes. They made some miscues, a couple feats here and there, rotated lanes perhaps a bit unwisely, but that was an advantage. I think Dota Plus gave them like 80%. It was like 8 minutes into the game. I mean, it's so hard to come back from those sorts of leads. And when teams of this caliber go up against one another, I think the ultimate lane dominators have got to be on your mind.
I like the Silencer pick because it kind of denies a lot of the supports that people like to pick with the Terrorblade, especially the Dazzle. So I feel like you may still give them the Dazzle, but that's a hero that, like these save heroes, really go down in value against the Silencer.
Yep. It's also just a favorite of Xnova. I mean, it's team fight in a nutshell. It was very popular at TI, faded a bit as the meta developed, but it's come back because at some point, I think the average game length at this tournament is, what, 43, 44 minutes?
Quite long, yeah.
That means there's at least 2 fights at Roche. And Silencer gives you a 5-second, 6-second window where you're probably going to be able to take that engagement.
And Centaur makes you guaranteed to be able to take that engagement.
There's
Probably
not many supports left in the pool, right?
I would agree that I think Dazzle is something that's got to be on your mind.
Yeah, I mean, Bane is out, Phoenix is out, Ogre is out. There's like Winter Wyvern maybe, Dazzle. But Silencer is good against both of them.
I like the Magnus ban. A lot of carries that are left in the pool are only good against Terrorblade because of the Magnus. Something like the Troll, you don't really want to pick in a Terrorblade.
It's also a favorite for the PSG.LGD side. I think Chalice plays a great mag, and you look at their team fight, and all of a sudden it's just, how do you contest when you know that Centaur plus this other unknown melee core is going to be able to find initiation, and then there's an RP to threaten. And to your point, it's also just a de facto counter to the TB. You've got to BKB piercing disable if you're EG. You want to ensure that they have nothing that can prevent your Terrorblade from being able to sunder effectively.
I feel like LGG just picks Necro here, right? I feel like most third picks I've seen, that's like the most common pick for Necro. It's good against both of EG's heroes so far. It's like a safe pick. Usually they run the Centaur in the 4.
Yeah, it's great synergy with the Centaur as well.
Oh, they go, oh, Enigma's still in.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize that hero was still left. Yeah. Wow, team fight already crazy.
Yeah, they're very cooldown dependent though. You can see if you're EG, you're probably going to look to play more of a rat style. Maybe abuse this Enigma in lane, but you're certainly not trying to win this in the mid game anymore.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to abuse Enigma in the lane nowadays though. They have like the Centaur Enigma lane. It's going to be incredibly hard to lane against that.
Yeah. That's like the cool thing. I just love Centaur as a hero. It gives you so much, and it's just your 4. And it's not as if you're a liability in the laning phase. You're just going to be the bodyguard for the Enigma, say what's up, and every creep wave you get a free Archer deny.
Yeah, I mean, Centaur gets like, what, 100 plus health per level? It's actually kind of ridiculous when you think about it.
I think it's 4.3 strength
gain.
gain,
4.3, yeah. He starts with like, what, 700 health? And then he gets like 100 plus per level. Has a huge stun, very good attack animation, a lot of base damage.
think you have to pick a hero to man up against the Centaur in lane. You
Yeah.
said the Undying. I don't really
Undying
see
is
what else
really
they
good,
pick. I don't see what else they pick because otherwise, like,
It's either Dazzle or Undying.
yeah, if you can't go on
Probably.
the Enigma in lane though, you just
Yeah.
always freely deny. You have to like be able to gank him or at least get on top of him.
Yeah.
Or CM. That is a bit. I mean, it definitely won't win the lane against Centaur Enigma, I think.
It's more for the style EG's trying to play, right? Where you're now going to have this 5 position that activates all 4 of your heroes, and EG traditionally has a very greedy 4 position. They do in crit, and all 3 of their cores, like they almost have to have good games. It's very hard for EG to ever sack a player, and Crystal Maiden allows everyone to continue accelerating, stay on map longer, and in a game where that's the way you want to be playing, I think it complements their style.
Yeah, and admittedly, TB is quite good with CM2. Like, once you transition to a jungle level 4, level 5, you actually do run out of mana without that aura.
I was going to say, I think they were considering this PL too,
Yeah,
because if they picked Undying, it would have made it a very good PL game.
Yeah, and there was no other real carry either that really threatens the Terrorblade at this point.
Yeah. And it's a good point as to why they don't go Undying on EG. Just because the PL is this one-to-one counter, and then your tool that you relied upon to win fights is just completely negated, and there's going to be a Centaur Enigma just trying to run down.
How do you guys rate an Underlord for Evil Geniuses in this draft?
I think
Really
Ember
good.
Can work, yeah.
Brewmaster.
Yeah, usually they're like response to PL. Just they want to dispel the illusions.
It gives you the team fight advantage, assuming the split can go off as well, which is quite nice. And you don't want PSG.LGD in this position where they can just starve the map and suffocate you 15 minutes in, because they're able to push so many towers and always have this threat that you can't contest them unless you bring more numbers than they have.
It's quite good against Centaur too, because when you stampede, you just like you'll one guy up in the air, and he is pretty much just by himself because the team is already disengaging.
Yep.
A lot of good merits to the hero.
Yeah, you know you can dispel Crimson Guard?
Yes, you can. It's
Yeah.
a buff. Pipe 2, I believe.
No, Pipe isn't. Crimson, yes.
I love the Ember
Pipe
ban.
you cannot.
Yeah, it's weird because I thought it was reversed. I think it was reversed in the past, but like I made sure you can actually AoE dispel the Crimson Guard, which I think is quite nice. You got to consider that Centaur will probably pick one up at a point against a Terrorblade. Could happen.
It could.
Doesn't sound like it.
I mean, usually it would be Enigma building it, I think, in a game like this, because Centaur doesn't usually farm too much, but although it's FY, so
Yeah.
he's definitely going to farm a lot. What is EG looking for here? They want some kind of low cooldown fighting hero for mid.
Oh, it's Sumail, so we saw him play a Quap.
I was going to say Queen of Pain.
That didn't go so well. I
Yeah,
hope
no more quap, please.
it,
Ember is out, though.
it backstage, I think we were watching Forward EG, we're just laughing because it was this the Hassan Ball, right? And I think Jack was sitting there saying, like, one of these teams is going to pick Mirana last. That's just how NA Dota functions. And I feel like if you're in this scenario where you just kind of need something, that might be what we end up getting here.
But Mirana is like so average. I really don't like it as a last pick. You want to open the draft with it because it can go pretty much on all 3 lanes. But last picking, it doesn't really have the power that other heroes have.
The thing is, you're picking the matchup line. That's the concern. So I'd be very afraid if I'm EG to go something like Alina, when you might potentially just get TA'd still.
What about
You
something
have a
like
Terrorblade,
Storm?
but
I think they consider Storm.
Storm is very scary. It has a lot of counters, but
Yeah.
they do. I mean,
But you're trying to come up with something better, but there you go.
it's just this jack of all trades hero that Sumail loves playing. You don't really ever lose the lane because you can arrow archers when necessary. And it's just excellent synergy. You spam spells, you can utilize the CM aura, you've got tons of lockdown, tornado into arrow, CM frostbite, taunt, the invis for utility, and you want a range carry against Enigma. You don't want to give him super easy black holes on 2 chords if you get caught next to the Brewlings.
then Storm or Invoker time for maybe.
What about Tinker?
Tinker can work.
Tinker wouldn't be bad.
I think they have a lot of options now. It's like Mirana middle just doesn't threaten much. Dragon
They
Knight.
go for the DK.
I mean, Mirana can't really lane against DK at all.
I like the DK pick. I think we saw VP use this hero. The Radiance into Blink was quite nice. I feel like it gives them that point stun that they really needed. You don't want to have to blow ultimates. They have 3 in their piggy bank, right? You don't want to have to use 2 just to engage a fight. Now if DK gets something started, all of a sudden, EG has a really hard time committing because they're constantly threatened by the Stampede, the PL spam, and they really don't have an answer to PL in this game either.
I mean, if this game goes late game, PSG is definitely going to win. They also have a massive teamfight advantage.
Yeah.
The silencer, if Dragonet just engages the global silence on top, like they can only disengage. They actually can't fight back.
I feel like it's very hard to protect Terrorblade this game. Much easier to protect the PL fights. Like it's just easier as PL to play fights this game. So I mean, I think LGD's got the upper hand in this one.
It's going to be a big S4 brew game if EG is going to take it. The Dispel obviously will deal with the illusions, but at a certain point, once the heart comes out, that next item, you don't have an answer. And there's always the threat of an uncancelable BKB black hole. Arteezy and Sumail will have to have excellent positioning because really killing the Enigma while he's channeling is going to be your response. So I'm going to help out my boys in blue and say LGD is going to win this game.
They're both in blue, but sure. Black,
I'm just going to speak statistics. Average game length is like plus 40 minutes, and I think plus 40 minutes, LGD is definitely going to win this game very easily, so I'm going for my boys, LGD.
Oh, I thought I was going to have two A's on the panel that wouldn't sway from Evil Geniuses, but it seems like PSG.LGD has our panelist favor here. Axiata Arena, are you ready for game number 1?
Hello everyone arena side and everyone watching at home. Welcome to Evil Geniuses versus LGD. I'm here with analyst Grant. Grant, the whole panel has this one on LGD. Certainly if it goes into the long game. Give me your thoughts on it.
I kind of have to agree with him here. It looks like it's going to be a big 4-on-4 game. You're going to have Ame farming, Arteezy farming. Who can farm better? Who can take those fights later game? But it looks like LGD does have a little bit better bit of a draft.
I'm excited to get into this one. Yesterday we had seen a demising showing from a lot of the teams. I'm hoping for some closer action today. We'll see which team's going to be able to fight forward and which team is going to, unfortunately, be going home. Big one here. Let's get into it now. And as the lanes do kind of get assessed a bit, not seeing anything too shaky here. Crit obviously going to be playing the Axe, joined by Arteezy up here in the top lane. We have FY, who has shown ridiculous moves on this Centaur. We got to cast their games in the group stage, and it was just so formidable.
Yeah, he was the first one to really bring this position for Centaur, and we saw just first blood after first blood in this top lane with the Enigma in the lane. It's always going to be in their favor. Arteezy is really going to have a rough game here.
Down and below, we see already to mid-action towards the Bounty Rune. We have Ame's PL. X-Nova by his side on the Silencer, already dishing out an early curse. His S4 wants to swing it out. He tries to pick up and is successful in grabbing the Bounty Rune on his Brewmaster Fly. Has to head out the side door on the Crystal Maiden to make it away, but it is going to be EG grabbing up 3 of the 4 Bounty Runes to start things away.
Not too bad. They take a ton of damage on this bottom lane, and I think the middle one, can Sumail like pull out a miracle and win this lane versus the DK? It should be reasonably DK favored after like level 3 or 4.
A liquid miracle or just a miracle?
Just a miracle.
Okay,
maybe
just
both.
a miracle. Tough matchup, obviously. The DK going to be ever so durable here. And we already know the DK's objective. He's here. He's going to get last hits. He's not going to be deterred in any sort of way. Miranda likes to go out on expeditions and make action happen across the map when she's able to do so. So if the DK has the land laid there before him, he's just going to try to siege down that tier 1 sooner than later.
Yep, and as the panel said, there's plenty of room for this Miranda to make movements. You have the freeze from the Crystal Maiden. You have the Axe call. So it's going to be a lot on Sumail in these mid-game movements.
First Metamorph already coming out, as we can see here in the top lane. Arteezy trying to bully them back quite a bit, but still eating a lot of damage himself. That's where Crit has to step in. Force Chalice to step off, but FY with those dirty tree shenanigans he likes to pull out.
That exact same one we saw for the first time earlier this week, and won't quite work out for them.
Obviously, gonna have to posture up against the Axe of Crit here. No easy targets available to him this time, so we'll have to just kind of take it slow. Chalice, though, of course, has that benefit of being able to deny the creep, which pulls the creep wave back and closer to their tower. But we're gonna see this back and forth trade happen for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I feel like Crit needs to bring a Sentry Ward up to de-ward the pull, or else they're just going to get constantly pulled away by this Enigma.
Fly, Crystal Maiden versus Nova. Silencer here as they trade from both sides. The early stomp from S4, and now he gets hit with the last word. He's going to have to double back a bit. Picks up a wand, pops the salve. X-Nova. Got to be careful there. Only one more leaf of regen left for himself.
You see the damage from Crystal Maiden brought 3 mangoes to the lane, already only has 1 left. That Crystal Nova level 1 is so powerful, but PSG.LGD hasn't died to it yet.
Nope. Lots of Eidolons there and picked up. More trades happening from both sides. In our mid lane matchup, 9-1 for Sumail to 12-3 Dragon Knight. As expected, I'd imagine here.
Yeah, it's just tough. That breathe fire, obviously, with the damage reduction is what makes it even harder, because Murano already has way less base damage. So, and look at that regen. DK will get full mana again.
Pick up for him. Looks like Courier's going to be delivering out what looks like a smoke and sentry up and through the top lane for Evil Genius's side. So we could see some early lane movement here. In particular, it looks like possibly by the hands of Crit on that axe.
Chicken has to be careful. They have the ward on it, but it will change to flying in about 10 seconds here.
Obviously going to be something as they see the shiftman here. They're moving on forward here, looking to get that first blood grab. Crit's going to be forced to step back, pop the salve, joins with the Courier,
when he brings his items. And there's the center. He did bring it. He will be able to de-ward, so they have the pull now.
That's extra money for him as well.
It'll make it a lot better, because the lane should always be pushing in favor of EG, because they should, you'll see the Enigma just denying his range straight. And it's tough. You have to get that pull.
And Nova has been forced what looks like out from the lane entirely. No regen left. He's going to have to do the long walk back and then TP to get back into this one. So for now, it looks like Ame does have the creep wave under his tower to work with, but he has to be cautious and careful for any potential setups.
Ooh, and maybe a rotation already. FY had to run back to base 2, and he's going to start heading down bottom after he TP'd home as well. So we'll see if when X-Nova gets back there, if they go for this kill.
Or do you think it could be just an audible call to switch up the lanes altogether? Any reason why Nova should just maybe go to the top lane instead and join Chalice's side, as we see him under a bit of pressure? They know that FY's not at the lane, so they try to push him back.
I think he should probably just go bottom. You want to secure that, and yeah, he will. He goes to the shrine, and they're going to look for this gank bottom.
So Ame happy to commit himself forward to get S4 that much weaker, but S4 already has another salve to possibly work with, but FY is on the side. It looks like they may have pinged him out. So this is going to be something that EG are privy to, but yeah, top lane though. Chalice still on his lonesome. Crit happy to dive forward, gets it done. Crit very low, but able to step back and away. Arteezy will get the extra bit of gold from bringing down some of those Eidolons.
Yep, and there you go. Blood. They rotate a support out, and all of a sudden you get a bunch of Eidolon kills as well as the Enigma kill. And Arteezy with that second Metamorphosis feeling pretty good.
Yep, and all the meanwhile, FY did not find that opportunity at the bottom. Now shifts his direction towards the mid lane, and possibly has to go full cross-country all the way up to top to help Chalice's side once again.
This is, I mean, when we were watching LGD in their group stage, the Centaur was just so powerful, and again, Crit. He's in trouble.
Yes, he is. Has a mango, but no extra regen.
The creeps are dying. He'll make it out.
Looks like he makes it out the other side. But it's 5-minute rune time. FY picks up the one on his side, tries to go across the river. Arteezy should beat him there, though.
Has the boots.
Yep, he's able to pick that one up. And it does look like it will be a split. Oh no, still bounty on the side of LGD.
They're on the side of EG.
Oh,
he was
EG
leaving
rather,
it for Sumail. Has the bottle, just lets him get it. Fill it up now.
Yeah, looks like split.
Yeah, might look for a gank here, and Radiant doesn't have a ward to see this. Sumail avoids the one ward they have.
As this, he better make something happen.
Ame.
There he goes, commitment's in, leaps forward, Ame.
Dead.
Gets picked off.
I don't even know if they needed Sumail there, but he's like, yoink, I'll take that. Simple kill for him, and just TP's back, and he has that bottle filled up.
Yeah, not even an opportunity for maybe's Dragon Knight to pop his first dragon form and start getting some damage in on that tier 1.
Yep. And this is the thing, right? EG almost always wins their lanes. It's more about this Enigma, Silencer, Centaur going to the mid game. And
okay, Crit.
Hey, just gonna run in there.
Gets smacked with a Dragon Tail and has to head out the other side.
Yep. And he doesn't have a point in call. 2 Battle Hunger, 1 spin, so not really any lockdown there for the arrow.
Fly is also here. He's just south of the lane, looking for a setup onto maybe, but just hits him with the Crystal Nova instead. Just a little bit of poking harassment damage. X-Nova has got the Invis rune, is going to be walking Fly home.
Yep, Arteezy does have to be careful. FY's in that position where you just cut down that one tree and he's right behind him top lane.
Yep. For the possible approach here.
He's just chilling, he's not moving.
And the opportunity is going to be gone because Crit shows up now to that top lane and could be here at assistance if needed, but that's when FY thinks about making his move also.
Yeah.
Rushing in, steps aside. Eats the Nova, now eats the freeze. Chalice, finished off. Fly's rotation successful here to join the top lane, the side of his blue brothers.
Wow, laning phase for EG always stands out. They're just, feels like they're winning most of their lanes. Obviously, bottom, Ame does still have the top net worth, but this Brew is getting farm, and he is going to be the big factor. Once he gets Freds, he can just bully Ame out.
Certainly while it's that one-on-one matchups, S4 is going to be super happy about it. Meanwhile, mid lane, they're not giving that favorable one-on-one matchup, at least while Crit's here, so he's going to be shifting all the way over and through. And we'll step out the other direction. But you can see, though, EG just happy to keep this rotation going. They're always looking for potential setups, while LGD may be favoring more just kind of setting themselves in these lanes and trying to recover a bit of the farm they're missing out on now. Here we see Curse out for the bottom. Nova looking to poke in from behind. Don't think there's going to be enough damage here to kind of follow up with anything significant. Just kind of forcing S4 back and trying to keep him in check if possible.
And uh-oh, Chalice in trouble again, top.
Good call set up for Crit. Easily sets it down. Arteezy happy to provide the deeps with that Metamorph.
It's just working out for him. On him. And well, FY, there's going to be a rune fight here. Just Sumail versus FY, and Sumail actually bottles it up. He's fine. Tank the damage. He's a regen rune. We
no
don't
problem
care.
at all. FY doesn't even want to waste the mana trying to go for a double
Doesn't
edge.
want to waste his own life, yeah. That is a big rune, and good clicking there by Sumail, honestly. Wow, 4-0, 2K lead. Obviously, we know this PSG.LGD squad will scale better in the late game, but will they make it here? Because right now, they're kind of getting bullied in these lanes. DK is farming well, though. That is the one big thing. He's top net worth.
You know, DK doesn't have the opportunity to mow down lanes and provide more farm for the rest of his team. You can't help but question, like, what is it he's going to try to be doing? I mean, does he favor something like getting an early Blink Dagger or making some sort of fighter build out of this? Or?
I think you have to. You have to go either Blink or Shadow Blade. Probably going to see Blink. He has the Tread still Bracer. I mean, he's just tanky. He's so hard to kill, and it looks like he read this rotation.
Yes, he did.
S4 and Fly, they smoked over, but guess what? This ward ended up seeing him. So, nothing's going to happen. They're just going to run top lane, and he's just going to farm middle.
Good heads up there from LGD to kind of avoid potential trouble. Doesn't mean they have to step out from the lane and allow EG to take that one over. Meanwhile, see bottom, Crit pulls out the call, steps away, avoiding any extra harassment here. While S4 stepped out, he'll just kind of step in, take this opportunity to maybe get some XP. He's close to his level 6, so having that dunk online could help finish off some of these ganks.
Arteezy forced to jungle now, as most TVs are. They don't mind. It's decent farm, but this PL as well, just farming the lane and the jungle. So this PL should be able to farm a little bit quicker than TV.
With the DK, and now they got the Enigma Black Hole. Opportunities are going to be out there for LGD if they'd like to try to get something set up.
We'll see if they do, though. No big rotation, right? It feels like it's going to be the Black Hole or this Brew split is going to start the next team fight, but neither team really wants to do anything crazy yet.
A spot out Nova here, who thought about rotating over through that mid lane, but the vision is obviously going to be also there for EG. Lots of vision, just pretty much spread all the way through and down this mid lane and river. You see all those rotations. Ace Rune at the bottom. Oh. He picks it up and sidesteps that arrow.
That's nice. Just keeping away from Sumail's bottle. That's just almost if Sumail bottles that haste rune, he's going to go somewhere. He's going to get a kill. Instead, he'll just be stuck with the bounty rune. Yeah, nice play there by the support.
Meanwhile, we see the big old Terra Blade farming his way through this big old stack, swelling himself up. No contention yet. FY is kind of roaming the neighborhood to scout things out, but his kill potential is not quite there either. Did manage to finish his Tranquils and has a blink in the horizon, but without those kill opportunities, it's going to take a bit.
Yeah, you can see both carries just in the jungle now, including Ame, Arteezy, and both op lanes are just going to start losing their tower here.
For possible setup here as Sumail gets the wave push forward and they have the catapult. They'll see if they can get some additional damage going onto the tower. Nova's trying to defensively respond, gets the pullback of the creeps with the curse.
Fly needs to be careful top. There's just 3 heroes pushing their tier 2. He's just okay.
All right, LGD kind of putting the pedal to the metal in this top lane and seeing if they can force EG to respond. Just Fly alone. It looks like LGD are not going to risk putting themselves out of position at all. Moonlight Shadow.
Saves S4 bottom. He was looking for the tower. A nice TP from the DK, but DK won't be able to find him. Still just 0-4. Very slow-paced game. It's TB versus PL, so expect these guys to get fat.
We saw Crit there, the last bit of that Moonlight Shadow, able to kind of stalk and see the movements from both Chalice and FY away from that top lane. They know they're farming through that side camp. They know the top lane's free for Fly to work with. The jungle's still safe for now Sumail to kind of work through, and Arteezy. EG getting what they want. Happy to play with the clock right now. Meanwhile, mid lane, Stampede out. They see Crit walk into the lane, and that's when they immediately pounce. They had maybe an X-Nova waiting behind for that kind of opportunity, and they move in.
And he just actually picked up the tome right there, so FY is happy with that. Gets level 6, secures him a kill.
First kill. LGD just happy to get themselves on the board for this one.
Chalice up here. Nothing to happen though, looks like.
I don't know. There's the Nova to maybe scout things out. Sumail sweeps in from behind, dishes out the right clicks, and they're doing plenty of damage. He leaps on in and is able to grab the finish.
Watch out for that Centaur Stomp.
Yes, it's there. No tower damage coming in, just some Eidolons. Nothing that Sumail can't handle, and without any additional rotational power, there's not going to be a fall through from LGD.
I wonder what that was about, because he definitely saw the Mirana, but he just stuck around and just died on the town. Maybe he thought his own team would come and back him up, but
they didn't feel quite ready.
To die. Yeah, he just gets left to die. And I think it's because this DK didn't have a Dragon form up. Nope. He is going the same build. He's going the Radiance build we saw in VP yesterday.
Yeah, know that. They didn't have the Stampede, which we saw was previously used to take out Crit, so I guess just without those tools, LGD not confident to kind of get any sort of response. But they're still going to be stuck on their side trying to find little bits of farm.
This might be where the action ramps up. You have the Black Hole, you actually have Treads and Blink 13 minutes in on Brew, so S4 definitely wants to make something happen here.
S4 had a lot going for himself in that bottom lane. He's been looking for setups since then, and we haven't seen the Brew split yet. But here's the smoke, and Sumail and S4 are going to look for potential setup. It's mid lane where they're getting heavily pressured right now. Centaurs, Eidolons, Dragons, and the company jumping from S4. There's the split. Immediate global comes out from X-Nova to kind of slow the roll of EG, but they're not done yet.
Arrow combo
moving
here.
Forward, the Cyclone's there. He's holding it out. There's the timing, and it does connect. Sumail.
The Black Hole.
Oh, what a shot, but the call stops the Black Hole from coming out. EG just one step ahead.
God, and X-Nova will make it out, but that you could see what the Silencer wanted to do. He wanted to block the arrow to save his DK, but instead he just kind of stuck out in the middle of nowhere. This guy goes for a Black Hole, and Crit's just perfectly positioned. That was all Crit right there. And he's almost to his blink, sorry.
You're right. Now with that call potential setup leading forward, you have double initiation power between S4 and Crit. And they could just go around the map and cause chaos with Sumail and company, and Arteezy could just be that insurance policy for his team.
And he is right now. He has a full Dragon Lance. He went the double Wraith Band into Aquila build, and he's actually farming the other team's Ancients up. So this is looking good for the TB team right now. Obviously TB versus PL. Eventually PL 6 slotted. Pretty damn good versus TB, but you got to get there.
Got to get there. And his teammates are trying to assist him along the way. We see the Shadow Blade complete now by Maybe. It gets into his hand, so we could see a strong debut of it.
Yep, and he had some extra gold there, but he was just like, he was thinking about the range. He's like, we need some more initiate. We're just using the Centaur Stampede defensively. We need some offensive prowess.
Yeah. They still have that Black Hole. I mean, it's always a factor to have in a game, but you also wouldn't mind kind of getting it expended and use it a bit.
Yep, and wow, Sumail's actually out farming this DK. I know they talked about it, that DK should destroy Mirana, but he's above him right now.
No global for another 20 seconds. EG not feeling necessary at the moment to kind of take full advantage of that window of time. They were more content on getting the farm and finishing off those items like the one we see there. The blink that you mentioned before is now going to be in the hands of Crit.
That's the scary one. It just makes it so that LGD has to always think, if they initiate on someone, you never know. Is Crit sitting in the trees? Is Crit sitting behind them?
Heavy pressure is going to be coming, though, to this top tier 2, and it will be finished by LGD. It's good, though. Some money in the bank and for everyone on the squad.
That's the biggest thing. The tower isn't really worth much like on the map, but it's worth that gold. And bottom?
Bottom, though, a different story here. We have Shadow-Bladed Dragon here looking to stalk things out. They see S4, they pop the Stampede. They follow with the global. Can they burst him down before the Brew split? Looks like they should. Oh, but the call again from Crit! He tries to bail him out of that one, but is not successful. That would have been crazy. But he's able to turn the corner. He goes for the TP, and he finds a way to hide.
Nicely done.
Wow.
And that was, crit was like a millisecond off right there. He blinked in when he was still global, and I'm sure he was spamming it, and he couldn't get it off quite soon enough to save S4. But a nice gank there. You got to use that Shadow Blade on DK. He can't be farming. He has to always be moving on this map, it feels like. You got to make space for Ame. That's what this game's about for Radiant now.
Still, though, it cost them the global. You know, they conveniently had the Dragon form, and they're going to try to make the most out of it here by farming through, but I imagine LGD are trying to at least get some more strikes happening here. Meanwhile, they're on the smoke. Around the corner is PL farming the ancient camp, but they're going to make a new approach here, and it looks like it's going to be Chalice.
Hello.
Spotted out. Lincoln set up, call, arrow, dump.
Takes the kill there. Crit's like, that's mine. I'm sure Sumail's like, all right, it's whatever. You know, I could have used it, but we'll just get this top tier 1 now, and they should be able to get this for free. That's the problem. When Global Silence goes down, PSG.LGD is so scared. The brew and the call from Axe, the double initiates are so scary without global follow-up.
FY has picked up his Blink Dagger, though. I was kind of curious how he's going to be able to find the farm, but he somehow did find that farm. Ooh. And this could be something promising for LGD, though.
Yep, they're looking for Arteezy. This would be the best kill they can find. Will he back up after this pre-play? That is the question.
I think
so.
But
there oh, Arteezy.
And how's it going?
Nope.
What?
Maybe.
So,
whoa.
Do something. Moonlight Shadow comes out. Do they have dust? Do they have detection? I don't think they do.
Oh,
he's able to sunder. They turn it around. Black hole pop right on the 3. Can they get any damage to follow up with it, though?
They can.
Not quite enough. Freezing Field comes out and EG hold their ground. They will lose Fly, and then they follow up by finishing off X-Nova. Ame also going to be taken out of the equation by the hands of Sumail, and a dunk from Crit. Crit does get exchanged.
And Arteezy dies as well. It's a 4 for 3. Obviously, Ame actually died elsewhere at the top lane there to Sumail, but not, you know, a very good black hole by Chalice. They just didn't have fault. The Dragon form had just came up. If he had that splash attack from the Dragon form, he would have cleaned all of them up, but he got it just at the end of that black hole and a little bit mistimed on the gank. And
we'll check the replay here. It was
the
really awkward
right
at
here.
the start. It took a little too long with the Moonlight Shadow. It just gave enough time, and he's able to turn things around. With DK having to step away and re-engage, that damage just was not there and available for the black hole.
Yep. And there you see Arteezy. He actually died to the Arcane Curse. He casted Reflection, Sunder. I think he might have even conjured an image. That Arcane Curse is just ticking down.
And it might be in the chaos of that action, like it's one of those things you can't even think about, really. You're just trying to get off everything you can in your belt. Yeah. And unfortunately, it may cost you. EG's still able to walk away with the better exchange. Yep. But there's got to be a sense of confidence there for LGD. They had a good game plan. They had a good setup. Fortunately, things just didn't fall in their favor.
Yeah, they do. They know this black hole is pretty much uninterruptible. Like, unless Crit's hiding somewhere perfect, Blink's behind the black hole, unless Sumail hits a perfect arrow, those are really the only two ways.
Back to the grind of farm here for both. Still Arteezy at top of the net worth. Him and Sumail kind of sharing that position a bit, but then just behind is going to be Ame and maybe.
There's Brew, get some more team fight, get that armor. I just can't believe Arteezy just hit 10,000 net worth. Sumail in second. They're 2,000 above everyone else. They got to get these good rotations.
Okay.
There's Fly.
Here's setup from FY.
They got him. Get the Crystal May, you know, bully her around. She gives them vision, but hey, a kill's a kill. You need that gold.
And they'll get the bounty too on both sides.
Takes the Crystal May Nor off the table too, not like anyone on Dyer's. Needing mana too bad.
I'm able to grab this bounty on his own side, making it a 3-for-1 bounty trade. Crit gives him the eyeball, but it's a respectable look from both sides. No follow-up going to be there. And LGD back to their trade, top lane push.
Yep, I mean, EG obviously expects Arteezy to carry, right? They could have picked the Axe first, they could have picked the Centaur first, they just straight up first picked this TV, and we're seeing why.
Yep, now he's got a new Metamorph to be able to work what looks like they would want to go inside the Roche pit, but Chalice lets them know that LGD are aware of this happening.
Yep, Black Hole's gonna be up in 30 seconds. They already have Global Silence, so EG definitely can't just 5-on-5 in a Roche pit until some spells are down or some people are dead.
There is good counter Roche there from LGD. Just like you said, EG, you're going to have to do a bit more work if they want to get that one.
But man, they are pressuring hard. Yeah. They're going to go for this Chalice kill. Chalice would be the best kill. They're going to go for the DK instead. Arrow.
All right. Do they have enough here? The Global's there.
Oh,
He's waiting 3 more seconds for the black hole. If they can come out, get away from this, but it doesn't look like they can. EG make it look swift and easy as they bring down maybe and bring down X-Nova. Sumail and Arteezy are just hitting way too hard.
They are. Are they just going to run straight to the Roche pit? They know Global and Stampede are down. So what does the silencer? Silencer buyback means nothing right now. They just going to get a free Roche, I believe.
Yeah, Black Hole, but yeah, without all those other weapons, it's not going to be good enough.
Yep, and the early Vlads from the Brew helps Arteezy. It's just so easy to take this Roche, and they're just playing clean. It feels like they're playing very clean by EG. PL continues to farm, though. I mean, this is the guy, they said it. Once PL gets a heart, it's going to be so much harder to deal with, and that's the next item he's going to go.
Yep. Top lane, Sumail stalking out and finishing off FY in the meantime. Didn't even need to really land an arrow, just kind of set the whole thing up, chased him down.
Man, this is scary. When Sumail's playing confidently, that's what, right? It felt like they were sacrificing his game a little bit, and they're looking, can they get on there?
Oh, I think they can. Oh, but Chalice. Oh. Chalice steps in. Real nice Black Hole between two, and this time they do have maybe to help out. Take them both down. Immediate buyback from Crit. He wants to get back into action if possible. S4 using the best of the Brewmaster split, able to help get down X Nova, and the rest of them try to make their lead. Blink out from Chalice, and Ame also steps away, but maybe he's left behind and in a bit of trouble.
Oh, that a Crystal Maiden ult.
Fly drops down the big bad ulti, and it's going to torch away the dragon, and now Ame could be in pressure next. S4 looking to cut him off. He tries to doppelganger within the trees, but he's now a man alone. Set up, trying to hide. Chalice says, I don't know if I want any part of this.
Oh, the Sunder. X Nova just respawns and dies again.
Immediate takedown from the silencer, and they'll still get Ame too.
Oh my goodness. Everything's coming up EG right now.
FY though, good snipe. Gets crit, that's a dieback for him. But it could come at a cost though. It's going to come at a cost.
Fly's going to die too under the tower.
Oh my gosh, it's LGD just getting wiped all over the place potentially. They get Fly, but that's like a six-man wipe for LGD.
You get the dieback on crit, but we got some USA chance going on, but it's just everything's coming up EG, and that's all just having that Aegis, right? They completely lose that fight if they don't have Aegis. That was a perfect Black Hole by the Enigma, but because he had a second life, came alive with full HP, nothing LGD could do.
Yeah, the setup and the game plans are great from LGD, but EG are already benefiting from all the fruits that they've gained from that laning phase.
And there's going to be a BKB on TV. You see the replay here, and that ulti by Fly sets up the early kill on the DK. And Ame just gets run down. He has a cute couple jukes, but it just wasn't enough. FY here with the big stun here on Centaur, though. Almost set up some success, but he didn't hit Sumail. That was the only problem. Finish off, and it's just people are dying all over the place. Crit does die back. He almost had his force staff. Now he's about 1,000 gold off, so at least PSG.LGD will be happy about that.
Sumail in the meantime picks up his own haste rune. He's that much closer to finishing off Mjolnir. So that is going to be a problem for the PL and all his illusions, obviously. So he tries to work towards that heart.
And we know how the reflection versus PL is. That is always fun to watch, if you can see it.
You have to have like a Pentium 9000 if you want to be able to watch that action.
Well, Dire scans, they just want to get some ward zone on the shrine. They're thinking about just taking this tower down bottom. This could be the fight. If somehow PSG gets a good fight bottom, doesn't look like they want it though.
Global is available. In about 10 seconds or so, they will have the big black hole.
He just puts a smoke. Yep, now he takes it out his back. He's like, all right, we're just leaving. All right, sounds good.
Right. It's like restriction play that we've seen in all these games. The one team with a dominating position is just going to continue to try to starve out the opposing team. LGD are going to have scraps of breadcrumbs to be able to farm up with, and those few options are going to be left to just Ame and maybe the DK.
Oh, and the smoke coming in. Crit really wants. Oh, barely misses it.
Mind control would have got that one.
Yeah, mind control yesterday. Man, what a player. And they're just gonna, looks like they just want to push middle now. We'll just run around. The best thing is, if Crit's off map, LGD can't feel safe. Like, if they don't have vision of Crit, you just can't really farm aggressively anywhere.
Hard shift from EG all the way through the mid lane into the bottom. Looks like FY's gonna be forced to stampede, but they still get him.
And that's why you see, as we saw mind control dominate yesterday, Crit on this 4-position axe, you just, what can you do? Like, if he's off map, it's a threat to kill you every time. Whoa.
Maybe it's just putting himself into all of EG.
What
is going on? Maybe. Why?
Another global. You can't waste a global
What?
like that.
LGD, what is going on?
That's going to just be a base push. The global for no reason.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my. And I mean, Metamorphosis still has like 30 seconds.
EG just going to happily move on through. If LGD want to give it to
Oh
him, they
my
will take it. EG just taking over. This is our racks now.
What clean play from EG. And right, we talked about how like Secret coming into the next day. Oh, wait up. Oh,
Moved in,
another one.
immediate slash and kill. What is going on? Maybe, what was Maybe doing?
I don't know, and I think it wasn't even that. You know, he dies, okay, you still have the global, so you can make this global black hole play, but by using that late global, now it's just impossible for Enigma to get a hole up, and well, that's a full set of racks. That was pretty easy for EG.
He must have assumed that EG just turned and pivoted out from the lane in that second. Like, they got to tier 2. They're done, right? Because it doesn't seem like they have any vision up there. He knew he was in the dark, but that was just such a confident move, and we'll see it. Yeah, he moved in Shadow Blade Dragon form. It's like, I'll just go for S4, but look.
And then watch, right when he's about to die, then you global. It just doesn't do anything, unfortunately.
No one even, I mean, Chalice was, I guess, maybe they thought Chalice was going to be right there with the follow-up black hole, and he wasn't quite ready.
Yep.
But
you saw his face there. He knew. He's like, oh man, I made a mistake.
So, yeah, someone made a mistake, unfortunately. Yep. We got to see if LGD can recover, though.
It is PL versus TB in the super late game. The problem is this TB is now 6,000 to 7,000 gold up on the PL. He's definitely broke this game open. He almost has a full eye of Scotty now. And the heart, remember we were talking about the heart, it felt like 10 minutes ago on this PL. He just now picks up the Reaver, and he's got to farm that up.
Got such a journey ahead of him here, but LGD not looking to be wavered quite yet. I mean, we have FY who's looking to build up into an Aghanim Scepter. That could help the case for sure. I mean, farming it up is another case in itself. The few available bits of farm are going to be delegated to other people, I imagine, but if they're able to get there, if they're able to get a decent fight swing, there is that huge net worth rubber band effect that could be there for them, but EG not going to be handing over anything easy. They're already moving as this full 4-man unit, it looks like, with the exception of Arteezy as they leave him to the bottom.
The thing is, we always talk about these late game sports, right? Enigma, one of the best scaling supports. You have the Silencer as global, but Crystal May, I mean, she just got 150 gold per minute. She's gonna get items now, and Fly never gets items. But on this hero, hey, get that 150 gold per minute, you will.
What would you like to see in a Crystal Maiden once she's able to pick up that kind of farm?
Either a 4-staff or Glimmer Cape, I think are the best options.
Okay.
Just utility.
Here comes EG now. They smoke up, they pop the Moonlight Shadow also, draw out their game plan.
Ooh, FY.
Yep, FY's someone in the path, and he pulls out. Good intuition on that one. But if EG don't see an opportunity to strike, they'll just probably settle for a tier 2 takedown instead.
Oh, the Radiant scans him out. Good scan there by PSG.LGD.
They do go for the D ward, it looks like. They're not taking the ward yet. Okay, now they will. Fly takes care of it. LGD are now kind of herded inside their own base, unfortunately, while they wait for the big bad EG to kind of step away from just outside their door.
I'm just not sure. EG can just, as you said, just suffocate him here.
Good takedown of the tower. And only one more outer tower does remain.
Looking good for EG right now. They have the black hole, they have the global, they have the stampede. This next team fight has to be near perfect for PSG.LGD, but you know, with a big black hole, anything can happen.
Yeah, but we still have these BKBs that have plenty of time. 9 seconds for both Sumail and Arteezy. I don't even think they really had to use them in that bottom lane engagement. Jump, FY, mid lane, just taking out the pesky illusions here. Arteezy being quite the nuisance right outside. LGD, though, just still stuck indoors, suffocated.
Obviously, the reflection cooldown on Arteezy versus this PL is so annoying. And this is not how you want to play. It's a PL, right? You want to be making, you want to be farming, you want to be going out looking for some kills, and he's just sitting in his base farming with his images right now.
18K net worth advantage for EG, and obviously it continues to rise as they clearly control the majority of the map.
And here, this has to be, I feel you have to make a move right here, but can they make it in time to stop this road? It doesn't look like they can.
They have to smoke and run all the way out, but the lane's already pushed inside. Yeah. The vision's already out there. there's no chance. I think LGD are just forced to try to pull out some ridiculous hold the line high ground defense. And the stars have to align for it too.
It can happen, though. They actually have the perfect lineup for can be's. Like, it could be a big black hole, could be an amazing global silence, but it has to be at this point.
Now they're going to have to burn through 6 lives, technically, with that extra life being in the hands of RTZ.
And there's a BKB on the Enigma now as well, so should be able to get a perfect pull-off. Should be.
So whether the damage is going to be there and ready for the follow-up.
Oh no, that was the heart.
Oh no.
That's PL's heart, and they know it too. They can, they clicked on it, and they're just going to push the high ground. Oh wow. Everything is coming up EG right now, really is.
And they are getting blessed right now with this first game. We'll see if LGD can make them sweat for it. Maybe in position, waiting to move in, finds the stun onto Arteezy. There goes the global. They got to give it all they got. There's the move in, there's the black hole.
Aegis, though.
It's all for the Aegis, though. They can't even get the Aegis. He turns it around and sucks his life. EG are not wavered at all.
And there's the G's.
That,
wow.
I don't blame him. That one is all EG.
Well.
Wow.
And you know, I mean, the panel said PSG.LGD. Remember PPD yesterday, though? A lot of people were saying LGD is a favorite. Peter's like, I expect EG to win, and EG looks, they just look confident. That was a 32-minute win. That was an insanely quick game for a Terrorblade versus PL matchup.
It's hard to even think about what EG may have even slipped up a little bit with. They executed perfect lane setups. They got the kills they needed there. They had great rotations while preventing the DK to be able to move forward objectively.
Yeah, but I look back a little bit at the draft. I think when Enigma was picked up, LGD expected EG to pick that Rubik, maybe have weaker lanes, but they just didn't fall for the bait. They took Crystal Maid instead. They secured these better lanes instead, and they ended up winning because of it.
And I don't even know if this is something like, oh, they just simply need to ban the Terrorblade next game. That's just going to leave something like the Arc Warden.
Exactly. I mean, they're first picking this Terrorblade. They don't care about the Centaur. Every other team's first picking Centaur. They just picked Terrorblade. They said, Arteezy, win us the game. And a shout to Sumail, who had some rough group stage games. This game, he beat the DK middle. He was the second most farmed in the game the entire game, and he just played well.
A little uncharacteristic for LGD. It looked like some of their commitments were a bit off, some of their game plans were a bit off. We'll have to see if they can shake that one off to try to keep their hopes alive here in the tournament, but props to EG in game number 1. Let's send it over to Shiva and the panel to get their thoughts on that first game.
Indeed, a dominant performance for EG there in that first game against PSG.LGD, as they are now 1 game up. And LGD is 1 game away from being eliminated. Here to talk to you about that first game, we got Kyle, we got Black, and Black is looking very grumpy. What's wrong with you? We also got BSJ. What's wrong, Black?
I'm upset.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, with LGD's performance. It was starting from the early game, everything looked so messy, not like LGD at all. Usually LGD is a really methodical team, they have everything planned out, their early game is really solid, they transition to a strong mid game. And everything just fell apart in the laning phase already for them. Like,
that was going to be my first comment as well. I feel like if there's something that their coach handles, it's got to be how to rotate what lanes they want, because FY and XNO just seemed lost. Specifically FY, arguably the best player in China, he had nearly no game impact. They left Chalice on an island for the first 4 minutes, and they just kind of looked lost in a lot of these mid-game engagements.
If you watch FY from like 3 minutes to 5, it's him walking to base, walking bottom, walking back top for the 5-minute bounty run. It's just like, they look, like you said, lost. I feel like EG played like a tier 1 team, and LGD just didn't. I was like, I'm actually so confused. They're just way better than this, and I don't know if there's like internal issues or what have you, but like when we look at these drafts, we're like predicting what we think's gonna happen in the game, and honestly, like DK just walking into 4 heroes with no BKB and dying, like people are just tilted or stressed or something.
And it's not like, you know, we're not saying they're like a bad team, it's just that we're so used to seeing such a high degree of execution. You know, this is PSG.LGD, this is the best team in China. They've been that for a year, and we're just not seeing the same team.
Yeah, they're unrecognizable.
TB is, I'm pretty sure TB is supposed to have a very hard time against Enigma plus Centaur. Like he should almost get no farm at all, but it was almost like free farm for him. He got like 2-3 kills on Enigma on top. He completely snowballed this game.
Yep. I mean, Sumail even, I think, had 4 or 5 solo kills, and credit to him, you know, taking over the map. We doubted the Mirana. Well, you doubted the Mirana, but
I'm a Rihanna hater.
yeah, it's just a hero that he likes because you can farm, you can make plays. It's just a jack of all trades, and Sumail, you know, it's better than Quap, right?
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of
I'll give
things
you
that are
that.
better than Quap.
Yeah, and just EG's lineup is easier to execute, and I feel like that's something we neglected to touch on. All they really had to do was avoid the big team fight combination of LGD, rat the map. You see Crit with a nice call there. On Xnova, he had another one in a mid engagement, but they just played their game of Dota, and the emphasis is really on LGD. If you want to win this game, you're going to need to play better than EG. You've got to find DK stuns into team fights. You want to force an engagement around Roche, but they just never really got anything done.
I actually feel like they had that though. Did you see at the bottom tier 1 dire where a black holds 3, but his entire team actually runs away?
Yeah.
And then DK running alone into 4 heroes. There's like, it feels like miscommunications left and right. Like they're not on the same page at all.
EG's just doing their thing. Like, they didn't do anything particularly impressive. They didn't make any mistakes. Like, they played their game correctly, but that's usually not good enough to beat a tier 1 team by 16,000 gold at 25 minutes in the game.
You might win, but it's not going to look that easy.
Yeah,
and it just felt like a casual performance. Well done to them. I like their itemization a lot. I was, you know, just the second item on Vlad's on Brew. We saw PPD do that yesterday on his Furion. Just such a super value item nowadays.
It gives you free Roach, basically,
Yeah.
with like a TB.
You have a TB and a Mirana, like there's no reason not to pick it up.
But as you see in this graph, PSG.LGD was kind of behind from the get-go. They just never had a grip on the game. They didn't get to execute their game plan.
I point again, like you've got Centaur roaming through the forest like he's hiding out in the Forbidden Forest.
He did nothing.
You've got teleport scrolls. You've got to have some sort of idea of where am I trying to influence the map. He can hold hands with Enigma that entire early game, and they're going to beat a TB lane.
Yeah, you feel like what he did today was what Ame did yesterday. It's just trying to force something that's not going to happen. Are you going to gank for a Silencer, Phantom Lancer lane, or a DK before he's 6? Like, just chill. Just play Dota. Like, just wait.
Even the little things, like I've never seen Maybe buy 2 bracers on DK before. That's what no one did yesterday. He then went into Radiance Blink. Maybe he's going Shadowblade into Maelstrom. In a game I feel like BKB was necessary. You know, you're playing against Crystal Maiden and Mirana. I just think no comment.
You're here to actually comment, by the way.
There's a lot of comments, though.
There's a lot of comments. A lot of comments needed because PSG.LGD, with their backs against the ropes, can they pull out that third game? Can they take the second game? Or will EG just walk on over them? Again, let's find out after the break. Yesterday, PSG.LGD left the Axiata Arena without a win under their belt. And today, they have a chance of having the same fate. It is do or die for them right now. One more game could mean the end for them. And for EG, they are almost at the point where they can get a rematch against NIP, the only team that they've dropped a series to this event. Welcome back to the Kuala Lumpur Major. We're about to head into our second game. PSG.LGD is one game down to Evil Geniuses. And here to discuss the second game, we got Kyle, we got Black, we got BSJ, and Brian. This second game, everything needs to change for PSG.LGD.
Yeah, I mean, EG just pretty much does the same thing every game, honestly, and they're consistent. They're good at it. Like you know what you're getting. Now it's time for you to put out too. It's like they gotta do their job. They gotta show up today. Are they gonna? I mean, so far they haven't proved it yesterday or today, and I'm ready for them to show up. I want to see some Tier 1 Dota.
At least make it a close game, right? Not like this. Like it's not LGD where we used to see if they just play like they always play. It will be a 50-50 game. But this was like 80-20.
I mean, I think what we're really all asking for is just some high-quality Dota. You know, we're second to last day of the major. We've got two of the most visible, fan-friendly teams in Dota, big brands, and I just want to see a good game that lives up to the hype. Because this was really the series I was looking forward to most, I think. And
very disappointing so far. Just like Secret LGD, honestly.
I'm like kind of mad too. I'm like, Bulba to me just feels like that TV show villain. It's like he first picked Terribly. He can't keep getting away with this, you know? But once again, it's just like an easy walk to the win. Like, high five, guys, great job. And, you know, props to him, great coach. I'm just thinking, you know, can we get this man a challenge? Because it's too easy right now.
Well, surely there's going to be some tweaks in the draft there. But if you're going to ban out Terrorblade instead, what are you going to let through? Are you going to let that Arc Warden through? No.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Arteezy's hero pool for the entire tournament, I think there's 1 or 2 Morphling games in there, and the rest are Arc Warden and Terrorblade. So, yeah. I mean,
one Luna, I think, or 2.
Oh, yeah, the one Luna game that lost to.
And they do, bear in mind, they're threatening the Wisp gyro. So every time Wisp is banned, I feel like that's like, you know, you ban that combination, but he would play that were it available. Thus, he's got just enough heroes to ensure that it can always be first phase.
Doesn't Wisp have like a 97% ban rate at the tournament so far?
Yes. However, it's only 3 and 2.
Yep.
In the 5 games, it actually slipped through.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see IO and Arc Warden banned out. PSG.LGD also banned out the Tiny in that first game. I think you can swap that one about with the Terrorblade and ban out that one instead.
EG took first pick again. They had selection, so you know that they prioritize their limited set of heroes.
They just want a hard carry every time first phase.
Yeah.
Just prioritize that easy play around him, pick heroes that go well with his hero, and you know. It's going to be harder, though, when he doesn't have TB or Arc Warden, I believe.
Yeah.
Because those two are actually like the map vacuum cleaner. They literally just assume like all the gold.
Yeah, I call them sweepers, where you're just always able to maintain a presence on map. And if you're not killing creeps, you're just sort of moving towards another end of the map to either kill more creeps, find heroes. Like, you're never really slowing down, and your team's never on a clock, which is how EG really likes to play. They don't necessarily need to stall for the late game, but they want to ensure that they're confident that they don't have a timer before victory disappears.
But if it works, so far, I mean, the only team that it didn't work against was NIP for EG. No. So far, their style has been working, and if anything, the game that we saw from PSG.LGD has just been very different from what we are used to seeing from them.
Yeah, and to put that series in perspective as well regarding playing NIP, EG was real cocky. Sumail, great guy, one of the best mids of all time, but his greatest weakness is also his strength. He's confident to a fault, and there's no way they're picking Quap ever again on this patch. And I think that the Game 3 lineup from NIP just kind of caught them off guard, but this is a different EG. This is lower bracket EG, and they are not messing around anymore.
Yeah, I feel like the only difference between that series and the other series is EG beat themselves. So, like, so far, like, if you don't include that series, I feel like EG's looked like one of the top teams this entire tournament. Yeah. And you know what they're going to do, but if they do it so well, who cares? Like, they pick a hard carry, they protect them. They have a lot of team fight, initiation, always. Sumail just makes plays around the map.
If EG makes this game, right, I'm a bit afraid for NIP. They seem like they are on some kind of blood path. They're just destroying everyone right now. It's not even close. The last series they played wasn't close at all. They just like annihilate everyone right now.
Yeah. I mean, again, going back to the discussion about when do you peak in a tournament, you look at OG at TI, right? Talk about a team playing with fire. They had all the momentum. They peaked at the right time.
The beginning was really bad too. So there was went all the way up. Just at the start of the playoffs, and they somehow weaseled into the winner bracket, which wasn't even supposed to happen, through like a tiebreaker. And then
and EG, like they didn't peak at that event, even though they were third. But a lot of people looked at this lineup, even right now. Like, there's more talent than possibly ever before assembled. So many big names. It's going to take time to develop your game plans and ensure that all 5 of these superstar players are able to be put in positions to succeed. I feel like S4 specifically has had the hardest time, not necessarily adjusting, but like learning to play around 2 of the greediest cores in Dota, Smell and Arturo.
Speak of the devil. Arturo getting ready for another match of Dota 2.
He's ready to play some Terrorblade, hit some creeps.
Some Terrorblade.
He's geared up.
Some Arc Warden. I don't think Arc Warden will make it through. Although you'd think that you got a couple of days. You know this Arc Warden hero is going to be a problem.
No. They had 5 days before their match against Secret Chiefs. One night is not enough to revisit that.
You think there's a chance to leave TB and Arc Warden in and take one, give the other?
Nah. Well, they're both. Well, Arc Warden's already gone.
Okay, Arc Warden's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, TB should be gone next, unless they really have a game plan against
I can't believe that they left it in this tournament. Like, I figured they'd have some latent PTSD after that incredible game 4, I believe it was, when Jarex had the superhuman Ags jump killing TB. Thompson Arc Warden respawns, they take the game. Like, what's that game 3 actually in the upper bracket?
Yeah. I mean, that's the approach I was taking to disband the Arc and the TB.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see what Arturo plays now, because I think this should make him feel more uncomfortable probably if Arturo is not on their hero. I think their next go-to hero usually is the Luna, which they didn't see too much success on.
It'd be curious as well if they first phase it.
Just a Luna?
Maybe not Luna, perhaps a PL.
A PL, that could work.
Or do they just sort of switch up their style? I think the Centaur is nice in this spot because they're confident playing at 3 or 4. They don't really care if it floats. So you just take the fly hero, and then you see 3 of LGDs before you commit to any of your core selections.
Very responsive audience here.
Yeah, I love the crowd.
Love it.
Guys are awesome. Yes. It really makes an esports event. It's not the same with
Max. So they're going for late game now.
I figured. I was going to say, Undying versus Centaur.
Just bully him.
I like this as well because the mag covers you against PL. And this is something I really like to see in an opener. You've got a core you got to support. You have lane versatility. You have strong lanes. And not only do you address what EG's already selected, but you cover that hero's weakness. Plus, you ensure that you're now the team that's not going to be on the clock. I feel like the LGD lineups have been excellent, even going back to their series against Secret. It's just the execution, specifically their early laning phase. If they can fix that, I feel like we might have a real series on our hands.
I always like heroes like Magnus when you have last pick, the Drows, these heroes that buff up the rest of your lineup, because when you have absolute last pick, you can get that hero that's good for the game that has even more strength because of the Empower. And I just, like you said, I haven't had a problem with their draft so far. Just play it out the way you should.
Doesn't even have to be melee hero, right? We have seen a couple of Magnuses just being there for the BKB piercing ultimate, and then just the last pick, like a Storm or something. He still greatly benefits from the Empower. I mean, granted, you don't get the splash damage, it's still 50% DPS increase.
Yep.
I like the Weaver against Mag, just gives you a save later on, and it's also a hero they don't have any stuns to deal with as of yet.
It's the perfect pick here, because you also deal with the Tombstone, and as you said, with an Ags build, you can save through RP, but in addition, you're that perfect hero to just find the Magnus, throw bugs on him, throw a hit off, just get that touch to prevent Blink Dagger, and that's how you need to initiate against PSG.LGD. You need a little bit of poke to ensure that the rest of your team is safe to position.
Yeah, just disturb him. Probably the hero.
It's a good look for him.
Sumail Storm. I mean, it could happen. The 2 heroes they have right now, not great against Storm at all. Like the 4th pick Storm after they show their 2 heroes. Definitely a possibility. For LGD, they like to couple the Magnus with a Void as well. I've seen that a couple of times. Quite good against Weaver and Centaur lineups as well. Could see that happen. Maybe even a Phantom Lancer themselves. Though generally I don't like PL against Centaur.
To BSJ's point, the LGD draft is open, and I think that that's necessary when you're last pick. You need to be able to draft a win condition.
Yeah.
Last game, what was it that they went?
DK last.
DK.
last.
Like it was a great choice. They can win that game, but that doesn't really scare you. You know, in this age of Huskar, Brood, Nepo.
Your last pick should be explosive, right?
Yeah.
Take over the game, win the game for you.
Exactly.
The other four just make the game for you, and you just close it out.
Yeah, and to your point, I think that is best said as like your win condition.
Yeah.
This hero is the groundwork of how you're going to win the game, whereas in that game, DK is sort of just safeguarding the win conditions already selected, and
Yeah.
I don't think that fits.
Not on second pick anyway.
Well,
Might
you
be
see
being banned.
Slark again, pretty good against both Weaver and the Centaur.
Sark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the Magnus.
Hey, it worked like a charm in the previous series. He just abandoned the lane. I mean, in my understanding of Slark, you know, I'm not an expert like BSJ, but your hardest phase is before Shadowblade. Once you pick that up, then you start getting active.
Necro. Picking up the Rubik. Very strong against both Weaver and Centaur. If you ever can steal a Centaur ult or even the Stomp and get a Blink Digger on yourself.
Who cares? It's FY Rubik. That's what counts,
That
man.
is FY Rubik. All right, fair enough, fair enough. The guy invented Rubik. He was like the original Rubik god. Yeah, Silencer. One of the premier heroes against Magnus. We just spoke about it. Like after the first phase, Silencer's like Magnus has such a hard time against Silencer.
I like this Tiny. It leaves it open.
Yep.
I think Magnus Tiny is great because you have a hero that's active in the mid game.
And not just that, we've seen the Empower Tiny, especially when you go dataless, like I'm sure that this mid maybe Tiny shall do. You hit that Echo Saber crit.
1400, yeah.
Yeah. He hit it, I think he hit a double crit in a series in the group stage, and it was like 2,800 physical damage like that.
I mean, even if you throw the tree, you have like 150% splash. It's actually ridiculous. You crit for like 2,000 plus damage.
Yeah.
It is
Balanced?
absurd. No, it's great. No. What's the crit chance? 30%?
I believe so.
Yeah. 30% to one-shot a support is always nice.
Yep.
That support knife is a rough one.
I'm really curious to see where EG goes with this. They're suddenly forced to pick a carry they haven't played yet.
Nope.
I don't think this is a Luna game.
And LGD will pick the superior carry matchup as well, which is something they are not very accustomed to either, because they are used as a TB or the Arc Warden.
Well, Morphling is still in the pool.
No,
right?
Morphling first round ban.
Morphling is
my
first round
bad.
band,
Yep. And you bear in mind as well, the difficulty with EG's selection here is that, say a hero like Luna, very dependent on BKB for survivability, you're playing against Magnus, and it's the answer to those sorts of styles. And if Chalice just gets a couple key RPs off, especially around a Roche fight, there's nothing you can do to survive.
I'm sure Arteezy played that Polygon map a lot, dodging those RPs.
Yeah, just give him a Manta hero. He will never get RP'd.
I got to
Yeah.
Dude, I lost so many games because I tried to be flashy, trying to dodge RP. And then when it's not important at all, then I do it.
It's a lot like BSJ. He's lost a lot of games too.
It will be the Spectre.
Go for the Spectre.
I like the choice. It's
Smart,
more,
man.
it's more reach to get on top of the mag and play around the RP. You don't want to ever just run up a choke point, say, hey, PSG.LGD, come fight me. Also, you know that the raw damage output of the PSG.LGD lineup is going to be nuts. So pick a hero that thrives with that deals his damage by absorbing. And again, you know it's a melee carry, and Dispersion does more damage the closer you are to the target. So
Slark is looking juicy, though,
Slark
for
is
LGD.
good.
If they don't ban it, I'd be surprised by EG.
I mean, Slark is really good. Phantom Lancer is also not bad at all.
I don't know if I like PL in this game. The bug always staying on the real illusion. You're playing against Silencer Centaur. I'm sure Sumel's hero. I mean, it could just be Mirana again, but I think it's actually a pretty nice TA game.
Yep.
You already know your
setup
mid
for
matchup.
hero. I don't really love a hero or love Mirana when they have no setup.
Yeah. And you know it's a tiny though. You could theoretically Tinker. Tinker is great in a game like this because you know again that there's most likely going to be that melee carry last pick from PSG.LGD.
But I do better not to Void. one of Ame's favorite heroes. Maybe we'll just bring back the anti-mage. He's like one of the only guys that plays it.
Ooh, it is actually a sick anti-mage game, to be fair. That is a pretty hard counter to Spectre, in my estimation.
Yeah, we also have to just see the last pick, honestly.
Oh my, they might.
Wow. They might anti-mage, man.
If there was an anti-mage game, I'd say this is it.
1 out of 100, I told you.
Yeah, we're due. It's like 96 games in or something.
You gotta love the cojones on Sumail. He's like, what's a worse hero than Quap? Give me that one.
Puck's terrible against Tiny. He can solo kill you almost all game.
Yeah.
So
and even the lane's not that good. Like, usually Puck has a damage advantage, but against Tiny, it's not existent at all.
Are we sure this is a core Puck? Because we have seen it as support.
That's a good point.
I don't think they do Midweaver. I've never seen it.
Mid-Centaur, man.
I actually think that's a great point, Sheaves. I think that Midweaver makes a lot more sense. Still kind of rough against a Tiny, but you do lane well. You rune control. I think that's very important because maybe is going to have to be the pacemaker for this series. And if you can dominate his runes for the first 6 to 8 minutes, a Tiny doesn't really have that chance to snowball.
I like Jug or Slark here. Jug looks pretty good other than Weaver. It's a good Jug game.
Anti-mage. I just don't like Slark against Puck. It's always like a bit rough.
Exactly. I think the Puck is specifically because they want to have that answer to a potential Slark.
But you have other heroes that deal with the Puck. So
it's definitely possible. I mean, Slark is not a bad hero here, by any means. But you know, just give us some new stuff.
Dude, it's going to be AM. You're right. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Do it for black.
They're thinking right now.
Like, Void, if it was in the pool, maybe you pick. Maybe a Troll if it's in the pool, but they aren't.
I think Void would have been perfect, honestly. Like, they have so much mobility, just picking the Void. I expected him to pick it up 4th, maybe, but they went with the Tiny instead, so. It's probably just going to be really something disappointing, just some PL, and be like, all right.
Well, they got 30 seconds to decide what their hero of the game will be.
Hey, at least they're in this spot, though. They're
Luna.
I don't like that too much,
into Spectre?
That must be some, I mean, it can work. You can snowball hard. Empower Luna is very strong. And if Luna just gets out of control, they have a winning condition at least. But, I mean,
what needs to happen for PSG.LGD to have a great game here?
Just tempo. I mean, they're the team with the Undying. They have a Magnus. If they take early towers, they win their lanes. Luna Tiny just eat the map. You were talking about, what was the word I said sweepers?
I said vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner. Yeah, so they're housekeeping, all right? They're going to keep EG locked in the cupboard as they farm all the creeps. That's how you take this.
Yeah, if they win lanes, I think it's almost guaranteed a victory for LGD. They just will clean the map much faster than EG will. They will just outpace them. They'll get the first Roche, maybe wait for the second and finish the game with that.
I think Tiny's incredibly scary here, though. The reach on EG, like early to mid game, is very low. So if Tiny gets like an early Blink Dagger, I feel like all the space in the world for Luna. So I think all the game relies on Tiny. And I don't know, man. I like LGD's draft, but I just feel like EG's the better team.
So you're going for EG?
I'm going for EG.
Yep. Sorry, EG fans. They're going to win this game, too.
What? That made no sense.
Yeah, because
every time he predicts, though, he's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
I mean, I just got to stick with LGD. So I'm going LGD.
All right, I like that you guys are a little bit split here. I am very curious to hear what our commentary team thinks about the drafts of the second game of the series, Dakota and Grant. What do you reckon?
Well, we get the first Sumail Puck I've seen in quite a while, Grant.
Yep.
You're a very clean guy. You know a lot about housekeeping, I guess. Do you believe in the theory the analysts put out that LGD, if they could just kind of clean up the map, that should be for theirs?
That's definitely how it should go. But if this Tiny just somehow if Sumail just wins the lane, he shouldn't win again. I mean, the game's just going to be over. But it looks like LGD once again has a clean draft. Can they execute? Guess we'll have to find out.
We'll have to find out indeed. Let me set you in properly. Axiata Arena, get ready for Game 2 of PSG.LGD and EG.
Let's get into it.
Yep.
I'm ready. I need a game number 3 here. I don't want to sound biased at all, but we want some good action and some good Dota here. But EG fans out there, I'm sure they'd like to see this be a clean 2-0 so they can move on to the potential next opponent. And that opponent is Grant, NIP, waiting in the wings.
It is. NIP already beat them once, but LGD, they got to win a game. You can't just go out on like 2 30-minute games right here. And, well, they have a decent early tempo draft. They saw the Tiny and the Undying. They should just create chaos this entire early game. Will they be able to? They should, but as we've seen, Sumail just randomly wins these lanes he shouldn't.
definitely potential for them to kind of continue to snowball and just beat down their opponents. LGD have that potential. But, you know, EG kind of shaking things up a bit. You know, how long has it been since you've been going against a Sumail puck? It might have been a while. This guy could set up some serious fights.
Yeah, he can. We'll see. Fly on the silencer. I always like him on a hero like that, where he can just sit in the back, make the play calls. He needs to get up these globes. We saw one missed global from like last game. It just cost them a racks plus more. I mean, they got the initiation on DK. He cast one bad global. It could be. It really is. LGD, they win this laning phase. They should just win the game.
Very volatile, of course. Here we go. EG want to go and contest the bottom set of bounties, while LGD do the same for the top. Trade it out. Xnova gets an early double grab, of course, with the decay. Could help him in the laning phase a bit.
Yep. The one thing, though, with Puck is Puck has very high base damage. So does this Tiny. So we'll see when this tree is down. We'll just see. I'm just curious if Sumail is going to go for the grass. He look at this. He wins the block so hard he actually might lose the block here.
Didn't manage to get that denied, and maybe on that one. It's
that
an awkward spot for Sumail for sure. The wave's going to push forward, and they're going to have to deal with it. Meanwhile, nearby, look at this. Contention right near that mid lane. Not sure if Chalice was trying to eyeball things out, possibly for a courier snipe or just chasing down Fly, whatever the case may be. He resets himself and heads right back to the lane.
Yep, looks like they wanted to get these lanes correct too. They're going to have the Luna versus the Centaur top, which it's actually very scary for this Luna. But then bottom lane as well is very scary for Arteezy. So once again, these two carries have rough lanes. We'll see you can come out of that laning phase and, you know, farm the jungle a little bit better, which Spectre is not very good at doing.
No. I mean, he gets assistance from Crit, who already has kidnapped the creep wave here from the bottom, and it's going to be taking it under the tower. Making it a little bit easier for Arteezy to work with. There'll be a full double creep wave stack.
See this, how he doesn't pull it into the tower. He pulls it right out from below it, and that way the tower doesn't hit, and Arteezy gets free farm. Nice job by Crit.
Should be able to farm it up. Crit's just going to try to poke from the outsides, but keep his distance away from Arteezy, so he's not at risk of getting double decayed, obviously. We're seeing the same happen at the top. FY kidnaps that creep wave, and will be taking it under the tower on his own side. So mirror setup from both sides. They take it behind the tower, though.
Yeah, both teams playing very similarly. I mean, their draft's pretty similar.
It's a matter of who's going to be able to inch this one a bit ahead. For now, maybe in the mid lane is just kind of tilting slightly in his favor, maybe because of that advantage at the start. 12 and 3 CS for him, 9-0 Sumail.
Yep, and there is going to be a regen rune bottom. Looks like Crit will be the first one to discover it. We'll see. He probably will just take it. No bottle out on the puck yet.
And that means that Arteezy is going to have to eat the full bit of harassment there from Nova while Crit steps out. Get bullied back a little bit here, so.
Yeah, this should be a very good lane for Magnus and Undying. Undying, one of the best laners in the game, but Xnova, he's going to get the bugs on him, and you just got to right-click him off. Those bugs can really add up.
Unless it's a bit of a misplay, I don't see too much kill potential here at the bottom without the stun. But as I say that, you know, Arteezy throws out the dagger. And it's just harassing a bit. Yeah, no fall through.
Yeah, this should just be an amazing lane for the Undying Magnus. Just throw the Empower on the Undying as well, and he just right-clicks Arteezy.
And what about this top lane then, Grant? I mean, for now, S4 is confident to be able to fight his way through the creep wave. He's going against Ame's Luna, and nearby is FY's Rubik. He has the benefit of Fly and the Silencer to kind of pull the waves back.
Yeah, it should be decent for S4 up here. Ame, he shouldn't be able to just farm. S4 should just be able to like run at him straight in his face and be able to harass him, and Fly gets the pull off. We saw last game they blocked the pull, but this game, Fly, he's just able to pull without even dewarding.
Yeah, so if things progress forward a bit, maybe a slight favor for LGD then. If the mid lane matchup's going to continue to go their favor, which actually right now it's back to Sumail's favor, so I guess I can't speak too soon on that. But bottom is nice for LGD and top is good for EG.
And now bottom, Arteezy. Oh my goodness.
Nice. Nice little snipe.
And he should live.
Yes, he will. TP's out, he's good.
God, you see the value point in Soul Rip. You're like, there's no tombstone. The value point on Soul Rip, so much damage, especially when he had 3 decay. He was just missing so much strength on Arteezy. He had like maximum 400 HP.
Top, S4, lands the stomp, lands the double edge. They both get hit with the curse. They'll each eat their own share of damage and get bullied back.
Yep, and runes. Oop, Sumail will get the runes. Sumail has dominated the runes in game 1 and this game 2 already as well. It just seems like EG in general favors
sidesteps that tree.
Not gonna get hit by that. Well, there's a big wave bottom. They could potentially dive some. It's just so hard to dive in Undying. Especially when you get double decayed, yeah.
Yeah. Gotta be careful. Nova's running on forward confidently here at this point. Holding the point still, whether he wants to commit it for the Tombstone or maybe an extra point into that decay or Soul Rip. Doesn't want to bite just yet.
The one thing we didn't talk about is you always talk about when you have a Phoenix, the egg hitters. There's no Tombstone hitters really in this game.
Yeah, maybe with the exception of Crit.
Yeah.
Crit's Weaver could kind of help with that, I bet.
That's the problem. Once he gets like the late game, he has the eggs. He doesn't want to be in there hitting the Tombstone. It's just going to be up to everyone else. And, well, Xnova's just going to one-on-one Crit right here.
Where are you going? Stalking him back a bit. Crit's going to be forced to wiggle out and go way up north and around the corner. That means Arteezy's kind of open for some additional harassment here if they'd like.
I have no clue what Arteezy does now. There's already mana boots up on this Magnus. Like, he can't sit in this lane.
Yeah, he's going to get hit. Every opportunity here, Chaos will just continue to dish out these shockwave damages. But ooh, quick snipe right there. Maybe a bit out of position, but FY helps set that one up, and Ame's going to be knocking it down. All right, this one's coming up LGD a bit, 2-0 to start things away.
Yeah, there's just a little bit stronger lanes. Like Silencer, the Arcane Curse is nice, but it's not the strongest in the lane.
Yeah, Silencer has constantly, or at least as of recent, been scrutinized quite a bit for his laning potential, but his team potential is just so significant in these fights that they just try to kind of work past that laning phase to really get the true potential out of him. FY postured up near this mid lane, looking to go for a possible setup. There's
Flies here as well.
A move though, coming out from Sumail, leading in with the coil, sees FY nearby, and maybe they second guess their commitments here. More assistance, or they thought about bringing in Xnova, but it's enough to kind of fend off EG for now.
Yep, but another Runa for Sumail, bottom lane. Xnova wanted to get that one, but nothing there. And well, coil used and nothing really happened. Just rotation after rotation from the supports.
I was just going to mention how the level 6s are now online for these mid laners, and we'll have to see what kind of opportunities they go for. And, well, there it was. So that one not working out so well for EG. And LGD still kind of adhering and holding out, but top, they're making their move. S4,
Ruby's dead.
FY shows up and takes a knee, and now they move forward looking to go for Ame. Ame eats a curse, lots of right-click damage, pops the wand, and able to make it out. But look who shows up, Crit.
Cancels his health potion.
Sweeping in from behind and cancels that salve. Now it's a toss up and down onto Fly, and they're going to be able to lucid beam down the little Silencer. Good response from LGD.
Yeah, and he's thinking about more. They have the ward, though. They know the Tiny's here. S4 shouldn't die to this, but he could.
All that happens bottom lane. They committed a Tombstone right near the tower to force Arteezy out from hiding within those trees.
God, Arteezy's still, he's almost level 5, but he's still technically level 4, and this is just the laning phase going so well for PSG.LGD.
Spectre versus Undying, just such an awful matchup for the Spectre in the laning phase. Ame
should be okay.
Yep, no stuns there. Toss throwback to make sure that S4 is not going to get close. Good assistance there.
And while that's happening, you know one of the greediest fours, FY, he's just farming up middle, but bottom, they're going for Chalice. He can't just, oh, and there it is. Will he make it?
No! Arteezy gets that last hit. Stops him from escaping.
Oh, they're going for more. They want Xnova, I think.
Oh, Stampede from S4 and across the globe. They're going to be able to hustle on in. They're trying to get a hold of Nova. The Orb's going to find connection. Right clicks there. Sumail making the most out of that double damage and putting it into work on the bottom lane. We're not done yet.
Silencer.
Toss up and down and finish a Fly.
Oh, Sumail's here.
But now maybe in a bit of trouble. Telekinesis, throwback Sumail. Maybe the creeps will take me. No. Crit gets that one. Blood shedded across the map.
And okay, a couple kills there and there, but that's the big kill. This is your snowballing hero, Tiny, who just kind of gets caught out of position, killing a Silencer. And Sumail from 2 kills bottom to helping Crit get a kill middle. Good puck rotations. And now it opens up for Arteezy a little bit. He has the haunt now. S4 needs to be careful, though.
Good juke there from Ame, and he gets finished off. Nicely done. Killing spree for Ame's Luna.
Maybe should have seen that, all right. Sumail probably told him, you know, hey, my Invis got stolen by a Rubik, but doesn't really matter. And, well, that's the thing. Luna's farming now, and Spectre is farming. It finally opened the map for both these carries.
So it's hard to say. We're getting close to that 10-minute mark, and we're starting to step away from the laning phase a little bit. Does this end up being a bit of a wash because of that trade at the bottom, or would you still favor it for LGD a bit?
Still a little bit favored for PSG.LGD. They did shut down the Spectre, even though he got a kill. And, I mean, the thing is, Spectre can never really just go to the jungle, even if he tries to. Meanwhile, a Luna, sure, can just go farm up jungle whenever he wants. Arteezy always has to be a little bit ahead.
And And like you mentioned, to the jungle he goes here. Sumail makes his return to the lane, but he's one of those constant fighting kind of heroes. As long as the coil's going to be up, but here's a Stampede. And speaking of a fight swinging out, S4 moves forward, gets the stop, follow-up RP, going to be committed, locks him in the spot. Shockwave also there. A curse does land on all of them, so it's going to continue to dish out that dot skewer forward. Finish with the toss combo. Maybe. Going to be able to help pick that one up. Two going to be dropped, but they do manage to pick up FY from behind. It's Crit sniping that one down. Nova, rip on himself. The Urn's also there. He's surviving. They toss it forward, and it's maybe with a triple. But we're not done yet. Arteezy running in, gets the slash. Not good enough.
Oh my, here
Can't
comes
go for the
Sumail.
finish. He's now stuck in the side of the lane. He still wants to commit in, but it's so awkward. Sumail can't get close enough, and Chalice still lives, and Nova also into the tower. Maybe continues to finish. Ultra kill for him, and LGD beginning to go on a tear. Sumail has to dip.
Oh, bounty run, all right.
Toss forward, though. They're going to get him. Shockwave's there. One more fade ball. FY gets it.
Wow.
LGD.
And the biggest thing about that is they win that 4v5 team fight while Ame is just farming bottom. They just win this gigantic team, and that's why you see the tiny mag. They are super good early, and they're looking for more.
And just as they try to come back to the lane,
misses the toss.
I was going to say that was probably a toss-back attempt. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get close enough for it. But man, he almost has the blink dagger, and that will make it a lot easier. Maybe pulled in a triple kill during the swing of things in that top lane.
Yeah,
he's 5-1 now on this tiny.
And you saw the tombstone problem there. Like S4 was the one trying to kill this tombstone. And they just didn't have anyone to hit it, and they finally got it. But it was 4 heroes just clumped up, and they got punished big for that. And it really just does go back to Ame's farming, and Arteezy isn't right now.
They'll try to mend things a bit. Pressure onto this tier 1. Both mid lane and bottom coming out from EG. But we're going to be seeing blinks come online very quick here from the LGD side.
You do have to be careful. Like, Sumail's the one guy who can still just destroy. He picked up his Veil before he died. He didn't lose any gold there, and this guy can burst down anyone on the map, but he feels like the only threat right now from EG.
Yeah.
Bottom.
Stomp behind the tower.
Yep.
Not going to find anyone. FY rather.
Ooh, Bugs will catch on.
It looks like they spotted him. They'll get the Grand Megas down.
Yep.
And finish off this tier 1 in the bottom. It does come at an exchange. LGD, in the meantime, able to finish off the tier 1 at the top. So everybody gets a little bit of gold on this one.
They need this tiny, just like he did last fight. He's got to keep doing it. He has his blink now. This is the playmaker. This is the guy that wins or loses you the game right here.
Mag's about to have his blink too, so
that's scary. I'm surprised he didn't go though. Something like the Helm of the Dominator build we've been seeing more often, where you just push. That really just shows they want a team fight. They want Luna to farm while these 4 just run around.
Now back to a bit of a stall here. EG happy to take more of the farm from the PSG.LGD side. I mean, we look at the wards here from LGD. They've the EG side of the map completely covered. They'll have any sort of intel on who's going to be rotating around. Maybe sweeps his way through this mid lane, but Sumail's not going to put himself out at the line of fire and looks for a new opportunity elsewhere. He has a haste rune bottled up.
He's going for a blink himself. It's really hard to kill people here. FY.
I mean, they do have global now on the silencer. Fly was able to get to his level 6. They might have to use it here.
Whoa.
And they see an opportunity to get a quick snipe onto FY, but tossed up and down. They'll quickly finish off that silencer, so no global will even be available.
No one really does damage right here. Tombstone's just going to go down. If you're EG, you just need to get out of here, I think.
Muscling out. Sumail forces a sidestep. They're looking to chase him. Stampede. RP, he locks him in his spot, but there's no follow-up through. They're putting their damage elsewhere. It's Ame able to get the finish on the S4, and he grabs Arteezy on top of it. This man is now on a 5-times kill streak.
Yep.
Chalice will be the response play there from EG. Sumail able to get that grab.
TP's coming back in. The Rubik's back alive.
Yes,
he gets the sentry. This should be a kill.
Swipes the Sakuchi.
Ooh. Has ulti on Weaver.
Oh, chase from maybe to go for Sumail, but he's able to hop to the low ground and make it away. Sees FY, tries to avoid trouble, but maybe TP to the mid tower to cut him off. And gets the toss up and down, maybe. I mean, he had that questionable moment in the previous game, and he is doing everything in his power right now to make up for it.
Yeah, and you see, that's the thing, because it's still early game, like, these fights are lasting so long. EG doesn't have the best burst besides Puck, so these fights are long and drawn out, and they just TP'd. We saw the Rubik to the Shrine, we saw the Tiny to middle tower, and these long drawn-out team fights are very good for LGD.
So what do you think is in EG's best interest at this point? It's clear that they're not able to get these favorable exchanges.
I mean, keep doing stuff like that, hope it goes better, and hope Arteezy keeps farming. That's pretty much what you got to do. This puck, he wants to be active on the map. Like, you have to keep doing fights like that, but that Tombstone just, it's so much. This Tombstone is so good right now.
67% for EG.
Okay.
That's a Spectre favoritism. I don't know why Dota Plus just has a
what is it now?
A crush for Spectre. I don't know why, but who knows? We'll have to see if maybe Dota Plus gets the last shot. Meanwhile, movement, coil, orb, silence there. Looking for the follow through damage. Crit's going to be there, stepping in. Tombstone's dropped, but damage already been done.
Yep.
And net worth is almost back even.
And look at that, we saw double blink, one by Mag and one by Puck, so these next team fights are going to be extremely hectic, and who can get the jump on who?
Yep. RP is about to be up now, and we're seeing step away from EG here, just north of that Roche pit. It looks like they want to circle back and around and maybe add some pressure to Ame and go for a tier 1. Ame shows himself. He does not have a Eclipse yet. And you said no coil, so they don't have a way to lock him down. They're just going to hit him with a little bit of dot damage. Force him back under the tower, but the rest of his team is here to bail him out.
Yeah, EG has to know, like, we just showed 3 people top. Are we to stay here?
Oh, maybe.
They have the sentry there.
Sees Crit, tosses him up and down. He has no time lapse. Pops the wand, but it looks like they have him. Pull back telekinesis, or have I spoken too soon? Maybe he wants to continue to chase here.
We'll get him.
They're able to finally get that grab, but Sumail wants to move in. Dances with him.
Could just die here.
Oh! They get him with the RP in the trees.
Global.
Global's there, though. Will it cost them ults each for no kills? Ooh.
Stun has blink now.
This is getting awkward real fast. Blink out.
Oh,
TP gone.
Even gone. And
see you later, nerds.
God. What a back and forth game right now. It really does. It's just 4-on-4, like just body at body while these 2 cores try to farm. We do see the global go down and save Sumail, but Spectre has the Radiance queued up. We'll see if she wants to go for that. Radiance is a pretty greedy build.
It's ambitious. It feels quite ambitious. Certainly in this meta with a lot of action, but there's going to be the haunt. If it's successful, it could help. Ame, though, fighting, hitting the showers at the same time, trying to heal up and fight on through. Can't quite make it. Going to be brought down. EG successful on that one. FY snipes the dagger. Throws it back at Arteezy for a taste of his own medicine. Now to the high ground here. Oh, careful. Nova. Finished off, over ambitious. Tossed back from S4, but they managed to get the coil connection onto maybe. If they can finish him off somehow, he has a high bounty. Chalice, though, with the skewer back, only catches Sumail, who will easily sidestep and get out the other side.
And that was, Ame was just farming the jungle. The reason you didn't see an ulti there, he just popped Mask of Madness to try to farm the jungle. He gets initiated on, he can't pop ulti because he's silenced, just can't do anything. That was a good initiation, a good ulti by Arteezy. And he's going to need more of those because they are still far behind. This Tiny has an Echo Saber now, can pretty much one-shot everyone but Tiny. Or but Centaur, sorry. And himself. Yeah. We'll see.
Burst potential is certainly there, but they're not making the call to action quite yet. You see top kind of free roam for Arteezy, and bottom free for S4, who has his Blink and Vanguard now complete. Looking to go for Tranquils. Possibly continuing more utility. But here comes PSG.LGD. And if Fly has to tank the gank, I'm sure that so be it for EG side. But they want bigger meat. They want S4. There it is. Move in, toss. To throw him back to the arms of Chalice, and there's an easy finish.
Nice and easy there. Fly didn't really know the smoke was coming, couldn't tank it, and they just run down S4. That was good. They didn't just give up. You have to find something when you smoke.
Yep. Definitely take the better option there between Fly and S4. And they'll walk out through the other side and look to follow it up with a tier 1 takedown. This net worth still a commanding advantage right now, at least for maybe, but their Luna still able to inch ahead of Arteezy's position by just about 1,000 gold for the time being.
And they're not going to defend this tier 1. Just pop the glyph, buy yourself 5 seconds, and, well, just hope Arteezy's farming. That's pretty much all EG can do right now.
Yep.
LGD, they just have to just keep playing like this. Have your Magnus and have your Tiny play together. They can't really lose a team fight if those 2 are together.
Yep. And Chalice will take his business to the top lane. He also considering some utility. He got the blink done, and he's going for a full-blown Greaves pickup next. I know there's silence options like Sumail, so if you're able to pop the Greaves and purge off the silence, that would just be super beneficial.
Double good because of, you know, the puck and the silencer.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of them might have to consider a bit of that.
We'll see. Definitely probably going to see a Lotus Orb as well on Radiant sometime.
And obviously Ame has that BKB queued up next. So that he can be certain to get off everything he needs in these fights.
Yeah, one of the key items for EG is crit. He has the Aghanims at about 700 gold right now, and any of that like Luna burst, you can just get out of it. Like crit being this greedy is going to pay off for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's actually pretty yoked here. With having the Aghanims nearly complete is having like a free Aegis on your team. Yep. Being able to bail out someone precious like Arteezy in some of these hectic fights. LGD, if they're overcommitting so much at the start of a fight and they're unsuccessful, they don't have too much of a follow-through. I mean, if Eclipses drop, the stun toss combos drop, then the RP, you know, and that's not going to be enough. Their follow-through may be significantly weaker.
Yeah. So gets another run going for the Yules. Now once he hits that Yules, pretty much unkillable. If he plays well, obviously. There's going to be a Shadow Blade, so this tiny, man, I mean, you see 2,000 net worth ahead of everyone. He can even solo S4 now if he really wants, probably.
Definitely using the full momentum that he's been given for himself, or he's got for himself, based on all these huge mid-game kills.
I wouldn't be surprised. PSG.LGD definitely can do Roche a lot earlier than EG. It is going to be hard versus the Centaur as well as the Spectre ulti, but you get 1 or 2 kills and you're going to take that Roche so quick. EG, on the other hand, doesn't have the best Roche taking team, so could be highly contested this game. Just LGD wants to, EG wants to stop him.
So it seems kind of stagnate for the time being. Does it really favor one side or the other? Because I feel like both teams have a hero that would like to just kind of continue to kind of swing and take fights, and then a hero that just wants to keep farming. So is it a mirror match as long as things stall out, or does it favor one side or the other?
It's good for Spectre, but the thing is the Luna farms the jungle so much quicker than her. The Tiny's always playing on map. I mean, he's about to take a tier 2 right now. It definitely favors PSG.LGD.
EG take most of the southern half of this map, or they have their little bit of extra vision, but PSG.LGD have their own vision down there as well. We see Maybe gets that finish of the top tier 2, and he's not looking to pull off quite yet. Happy to kind of keep things pressured forward and force EG back to kind of deal with it.
BKB going to be the Mask of Madness, Dragonlance into BKB on Luna. It just makes this Radiance if the Spectre goes in even less worthwhile, honestly. I mean, this Luna, I love the early BKB. It means you can fight, you have that Lunar Blessing, so you have the damage without having items.
And I assume that might be what they're waiting for. And is, for EG side, are they waiting for the Radiance to be complete? Because, you know, the Yules is just about done for Sumail. We saw the Aghanims now complete on crit. Oh, crit. Speaking of which, wow. Maybe.
He's godlike.
He hits like a truck.
Yeah, and you see, I've heard a lot of people talk about, a lot of pros talk about Sentry Wards in this meta right now are just so good. In middle, there it is.
Wow.
See you later.
LGD strike twice, hard and fast.
Yeah.
EG, maybe not even ready for it. Now, we got to see if EG going to respond on top of that, though. We are talking about an RP now being committed.
Yep, I like that. That's a good RP, though. You know that's the last time you're going to do that to Sumail, because he will have the Yules next time it's up. A lot harder to do. And guess what? You get a big core kill as well as that tier 1 tower, and now the level 15 talent for Luna. She's going to be doing so much damage with really no damage items.
And she is fast on her way to finishing out that BKB too.
Yep. It's going to be coming out the same. I think Arteezy's Radiance is going to come about the same time as his Luna BKB, and that is not good for EG at all.
No. LGD in great form here. 5K net worth advantage. Looking to make this a series, that's for sure. Zapping things out, maybe.
Crit barely makes it away.
Crit. Oh. Slides right through him, heads out the other side, and that's when Maybe takes his lead. He avoids potential trouble there, but no call to action at the moment quite yet for either team. Like one of the games where we're not really seeing any smoke plays, for example. Not even yet, Grant.
Yeah, I'm surprised he knew that gank was coming, even though EG, there's no wards in their jungle, but he had a thought, he's like, why is no one else on the map? And he just gets out of there.
I think I finally may see that smoke play possibly coming out from PSG.LGD. We have FY with a smoking pocket. They're kind of congregated here. They're waiting, though,
I think
for the right time.
Just, yeah, you clear these out. You're going to have your BKB on your Luna now. Well, it's still 40 gold. And there you go. And there it is, exactly same timing, Radiance and BKB.
Wow.
That does definitely favor the Luna. Obviously, Spectre now can be a nuisance on the backside. It's like Weaver bugs plus this Spectre can create a lot of mayhem, but...
Yeah, a lot about the initiation of the fight. If the Haunt comes out first, it will prevent a lot of the initiation power from Chalice and from maybe jumping into action. But they're already trying to get something going here. They've smoked.
Oh, and now
surfacing around.
Crit was the one who pings it out. He's like, wait, how did they lift up? There's no one here, so they know that smoke's there because of a little bit of a misplay by the Rubik.
So they're hanging on the high ground right now. They know this is the better position.
And they know they saw his smoke broke. I don't think you can do Roche right now if you're LGD. And they're going to smoke themselves on EG. This could be the big fight.
They're trying to go down and around to possibly catch PSG.LGD from behind, it would look like, as LGD take themselves further up north. Or not. Ooh, they come back towards their own secret shop side, which is a good spot for them. It's high ground.
Yep.
So if EG approach...
this Tiny.
Okay. He's there. He shows himself. They put a ward down.
Wait, they can't kill that guy. He just picked up a Reaver. He has 3.2k HP. He's got 50% status resistance. This Tiny feels nearly unkillable.
Whoa. I did not know he grabbed the Reaver. He is big now. Very big.
Okay,
there's the move. It's S4. Starts with the Haunt to finish him in their spot. They're looking to go for the finish. Can they get Ame down? He's still surviving. He's still holding. They finally got it.
The Tombstone got it.
EG fighting in. Nova putting down the Tombstone. It gets ripped apart. They should be able to finish him off next. This is EG's fight. They had the better positioning, and they let things out, and they're not done yet.
Yules.
Good catch of the Yules from Sumail to stop Chalice in his tracks, and they're going to make it 3 all day.
What a gank right there. Being able to burst down this Luna, who does use the BKB, just great play from EG. And they get a tier 1 tower because of it.
That cuts that lead significantly, pretty much right in half now.
Yep.
For EG's favor. 3 kills plus a tower. But LG didn't have to expend a whole lot. They didn't really get to expend anything. So there's got to be a call to fight here for PSG.LGD side, and something that EG should be ready for.
Yeah, and here you see the replay. What a stomp by S4 there. They get it. The bugs come on. He gets his BKB up, but he's already so low, and the bugs are just eating him alive. BKB doesn't take the bugs off. They're still eating you alive.
Yeah. And they put their focus. They're able to bring down that Tombstone. They have good spread positioning here.
Yep.
And then Sumail with that quick jump catch.
Yep.
Wow.
S4 and Sumail, they were both ready. They were going to stop that TP no matter what. And, well, still 4K lead for LGD, but you see what they can do when all their cooldowns are up.
Now we got to see if the pressure is on LGD to make something happen now. You don't want to kind of just let this begin to throw back the way of EG. Yeah. LGD have had their eyes on the Roche for a while now.
I wouldn't doubt. No Spectre ulti up. You have Stampede, but no Global either.
Nova on the low ground, takes out the ward.
God, I don't know. You got to just throw the bugs in there, and maybe Sumail makes a swag play. I don't know.
Well, there's the orb already being committed. Dagger to throw in.
He's just hitting it. The Flesh Golem, obviously Flesh Golem does work on Roche very good.
Yep. Oh, RP does catch just one, and they toss that silencer back inside. He did not have Global, but they're still going to swing it out. Stampede's going to be committed. They're going in. They're going to go for the edges. It's Crit who grabs it. S4 fights 4, takes out Chalice. Ame able to get that response play, taking out S4 though, and then they managed to get the finish. Can they at least force RTZ down?
It went down. The Tombstone went down. It would have killed him.
But maybe.
Oh, he gets him.
Good grab by Maybe. Falls through and is able to get the finish. And all 5 from EG go down, if you count the Aegis.
Wow. And man, honestly, that's not terrible for EG. You deny the Aegis from the Luna, which is the biggest thing here, and you kill the Luna again. The Luna's farm is stagnated, and this Tiny though, this Tiny feels like he has put the rest of his team on his back right now, and he has a heart. He's flying it out right now.
He can hold that spot. He can be the one to step in for the Luna for now. That works out well for LGD, and it keeps him in the reign of things. But as time goes on, and if this Luna is not able to recover and keep farming and out-farming Arteezy, things could begin to get concerning.
Yeah, it can, but you see the replay right here. I don't know how Crit actually went in there and stole that, but the bugs, man. These Weaver bugs are doing so much work right now. And a little bit of a whiffed ulti there from Chalice, honestly. They committed everything on Fly.
And Fly didn't even have global. It was about to be up in about 5 seconds, but imagine if it had been up. And that's probably why they're looking for a smoke gank now. They still have that global available, so if there's going to be an opportunity for them, they will look to take it. And they have found one possibly for bottom. They're going to commit the coil to cancel out Chalice. Does TP escape? And they'll get the Magnus.
Yep. Oh, but here he goes. Another one beyond godlike Spectral.
And he's just walloping away.
Ame no ulti, but the Tombstone's down. This is a bad fight for EG, I think.
RTZ looking to bail out using the assisted stampede. Ame wants to chase.
Maybe not.
Stomp is there. They turn it back. That's a big bounty. If they could get maybe down, it's a lot of money.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
a lot of money.
They're going to get more. What just happened?
EG taking back over here. Still no global even used for that fight.
There's no way you push uphill here. You're a Spectre. You have one item.
But Tiny's out for 70 seconds. He has no buyback at this point.
They do have to be careful because they themselves don't know Tiny doesn't have buyback, obviously. And if he just buys back here, EG has to be scared. But they know he's not buying back. They're going to go in. Global's out.
Global's there. They're going to be able to quickly snipe him down, but he's got the mules.
Oh.
He's getting pushed back. Lots of damage. Good power.
He dodged it. Sumail God.
Woo! Woo! He slips. He slides. He goes down.
He tried. Dodges the RP though, and honestly, hey, RP being down just means more time for Spectre to farm, but a good hold there. Without your Tiny, no buyback. You commit the Luna ulti, and you actually almost get Arteezy. He like ran into Ame's range of that ulti, and almost like one more beam he would have blown up, but LGD holds on. I can't believe the EG just pushed the base right there, though. That was really greedy.
That is a huge confidence play. Not sure if the smartest, but it's a big confidence play from EG. Just kind of take it to PSG.LGD saying we're still in this one for sure. LGD still hold the net worth advantage at this point in time. Certainly credit to Baby's Tiny. Here we see a replay of the action. Of course, leading out with that good snipe onto Chalice, taking that RP out of the equation. Helps things a bit for the early part of the fight, but then Maybe comes in and just makes quick work of Fly.
Yeah, he does. Ame drops the BKB. They can't do anything to Ame right there, but they just run away from him, decommit, and all of a sudden Ame's like, wait, I don't have a BKB. I got to get the hell out of here, and Tiny just gets left in the dust.
Sumail's able to dish out everything he can from the outside with really no threat at all, and an assist and being able to finish out Maybe, and Maybe, as we see there, not the happy, not the happy, handing over a lot of money to the puck at this point, and he's going straight for the Ags.
And just so you know, the Spectre just gained about 1,500 HP. He gets the level 20, 500 health talent. He finishes the heart.
What?
He just has 3.5k HP now.
That heart just came out of nowhere.
Oh, Is this the fight? Every cooldown is up except for Global, which is up in 20. I don't know who wants to take this fight, honestly. I think LGD doesn't mind, but Global's up in 15.
They have a smoke here in the pocket of X-Nova, but you're right. They look like they were postured up to try and make a swing onto EG there at the bottom, but they changed their mind and they pull off a bit. I don't blame them. You really got to think twice. This is an elimination match for PSG.LGD if they happen to drop it.
Tiny does find the double damage. We'll see. He definitely can one-shot anyone but Arteezy now. This guy is going to thwack someone. Maybe not.
It could be Arteezy. He's right out in front. They got to make the move. Tombstone committed, but they're really thinking about it. They're not immediately jumping in fear that the response from EG is just around the corner. I mean, that global is still up too.
If Tiny blinks in, he might get the stun off. If he gets global though and they don't get the combo, they are in a lot of problems. I like that. Just back out even though you have the DD.
Everyone here in the bottom lane, at least they were here in the bottom lane, just how tense it is. Finally, LGD realized it just might be too much time wasted for themselves and they have to split out elsewhere. Same for EG. Immediately, 3, 4 of them all book it to the top lane and try to pressure out.
And now this Luna feels a little bit weak once you get like that satanic butterfly, but she is nowhere near either of them right now.
I fear for her to like plateau on the farm.
Yep, and that's going to be a scary thing. When Puck actually does get this Aghanims, this Luna is just going to get held in place. Obviously, you can't break the coil even BKB'd, and you're going to be in a lot of trouble in the top lane.
Move in, stop from S4. They're looking at the opening of Ame. He's trying to make it out, but he does get the assistance from the Grease and the BKB, trying to make it out. The Soul Rip also to bail him out. Stampede, they think about chasing, but he's able to make it inside safely. Good disengage from LGD.
Oh, but then Tiny? Are they going to be able to kill him?
He's alone. He's fighting between 3, but he does massive damage onto Sumail. My God. Also able to get the finish onto Fly. Maybe struts him stuff. back inside, and he's going to be good. Trouble for EG. Arteezy trying to make it away. Long TP out, but is successful on making it out.
Oh my goodness. You see, dude, this X-Nova not only just saved the Luna right there, possibly their game, as well saves the Rubik who was running away. The Rubik was going to die to crit from a Geminate attack, and man, late game dirt. You don't often say they're making an impact, but he actually might have just saved their racks.
He's been the paramedic. Hi, how's it going? Woo! Time lapse to pull himself away from the whopping damage that would have been there from Maybe.
Oh, and he has a crystal, as now just flew out on the courier. This boy does some damage. Oh, crit. They see him again, though. Here comes the Tiny for round number 2.
Oh, he's got to be careful. Chalice right there as well. Turns the corner, heads out the other side, and he should be safe.
Yep, man. That Luna, I think, lived with like 100 HP, then got Guardian Greaves, got Soul Rip, gained so much HP.
Bottom lane. FY.
Don't give him a Sakuchi. Yeah, he's trying to avoid it. He's avoiding. Nice job. Look at this.
The Crit's trying to hide the Sakuchi,
but
he's there. They have the sentry, so he'll steal the Sakuchi regardless.
But they have a sentry there.
They do. They have their own sentry in the lane, and they're going to pop a dust. But he's so fast.
It's up to Sumail.
They can't quite chase him. He slips away. The people love it. He's gone. LGD are making EG sweat for this one.
God, watching these 2-4 players play, so smart by Crit, just hiding on that tree, not giving it up, but the sentry there, he gets it. They have their own sentry, but FY gets away, and fun little exchange.
And they go their separate ways. And props to LGD. They've been holding this small net worth advantage for pretty much the whole game.
Yep. It is about 5-6K right now. Obviously, Spectre is getting farmed, but so is the Luna, and the Luna is getting close to the Satanic. And once you get that Satanic, you Guardian Greaves, Soul Rip, Satanic with BKB, good luck killing her in that like initial burst like they almost did.
But they also have the benefit of this maybe Tiny, who's now dealing ridiculous damage, and he could do that kind of damage onto the buildings as well. Question is if EG have that kind of number 2 potential. I mean, that would be Sumail, but it's a, it's a puck. Offers a lot of the utility, but not nearly as much of the damage.
Yeah. Once the Spectre does get Manta even, increases the damage so much, can pick up even the support. You don't have to just go for that Luna immediately. You can go for some supports, wait the BKB out. But Tiny gets the Invis rune.
Yeah.
It's so scary though. In this patch with Sentry Wards lasting 6 minutes, like to play Invis heroes, it does not feel good versus these sentries.
Yeah, so a lot of them being dropped, and of course these choke points, we saw their mid lane. Scout things out, and now EG.
There's a Satanic. That's the item. You can't take a fight if you're EG right now, I don't think.
They're trying to, though. And they could be right around the corner from Ame's positioning.
They get Chalice. Chalice would be a nice pickup.
Oh, they do not want to go. They instead settle for what they see in the mid lane. An immediate jump grab, looking to go for Maybe, but he is a big, thick one. So they're going to settle for FY instead.
Yep, we'll lock him down. You just used a global and
LGD,
a Spectre ulti for that.
They're in mid lane. Oh, cancels the RP, doesn't need it. Skewers in, Arteezy, and then locks him with the RP. Here comes the Eclipse, firing it out though, and he gets saved. Bailed back now, they put their focus onto the finished S4. Maybe though is going to fall. There's too much harassment going to be coming out at this point, and Sumail looking to take it to Ame. They're forced to split. They have to back up, and you're right. Maybe does buy back, and EG pull out from the fight. Crit.
What? Crit does it again. That's the thing. That's why Arteezy, I was like, why is he playing cocky? And then you forget they've got that Weaver with the Aghanims, and guess what? All that burst damage you used on this 3.5 HP Spectre nullified. God, what a tight game. This is the least farming we've seen in Game 2, right? It feels like there's always 5 versus 5 heroes in a lane, like maybe not fighting, but just, hey, I see you as well. No one really wants to go in, and they're going to scout out Roche. You can't do it. Yeah. You cannot do it if you're EG. You can't do Roche unless there's a lot of heroes dead on Radiant, it feels like.
More time for both. Lots of cooldowns here. I mean, Global being out. Haunt was also committed on the other side. Eclipse being dropped for that one.
But already it feels like so much time has passed. The Global Silence is up in 40, the Spectre ult is up in 30, and EG will be willing to fight again. And it might be this Roche fight.
It is a standoff, it looks like, from both sides here.
Are they just going into Roche? I like this. You have like a 30-second window with no Global. They're going to jump in.
Maybe coming in. Can't quite get the grab onto Crit. EG do not want to overextend. LGD though,
God,
gotta be careful.
Dust versus Tiny feels so bad with the stats. He uses Dust, it's just gone 3 seconds later, and they're going in for the Roche. With this Tombstone down, no, they have Spectral, but Global's down for 10. This is the exact same fight as last time. Global's
Jump,
the only
stop,
skill.
skewering in, bringing S4 into action right
Helps
now.
him out again.
Now they're calling out. They're going to be committed with the coil. Ame just unleashing what he can on the back of the BKB. Roche low, but not finished yet. Now EG want to get their hands there. They're moving in with the bomb. Crit! How is this guy able to grab it every single time? S4 able to move in, looking to go for the finish. Ame trying to swing it out. Pops his Satanic, but he's still gets bursted down. Does have a buyback, otherwise he's out for the long haul and maybe going to be finished too. EG say that this Roche is ours. You cannot have it.
Someone stop Kurt right now. Not only did he snatch the Aegis, he saves the Centaur, who's able to get the ulti because of his ulti, and Kurt's just playing out of his mind. He really is. This man is a beast. And you see the Puck got the cheese as well and used it in the fight. So they got the Aegis and the cheese. And now they're threatening bait. There's no buyback Tiny, 100 seconds. And they know that this time because the Tiny did buy back. They can guarantee there is no Tiny.
Let's see what they can do with it here. They don't have RTZ. I mean, S4 can try to be a battering ram, but they ram him instead into the base. But the time lapse from Crit.
Welcome to Crit Gaming. You got to be careful of those zombies, though.
Oh, he stole time lapse.
And
now
he has the
FY
axe.
has it. And he stole Stampede. Now they got a huge 4-man coil from Sumail to lock them in their spot. But they are still going to be able to get that finish onto S4, and that's what matters.
Then still, EG, they lose a hero there, but they're happy with that because Fly, that whole team fight, guess what he was doing? Running bottom to go and get the 40-minute bounty runes, and guess what's going to happen top? Crit will get both of them as well, and that's 4 bounties, and here's the replay. And here you see the Centaur right here. Watch the Crit ulti while he's in midair, takes him out. The coil. Ame can't run out of it. That's an Ag's Puck. You run out of it, you're getting stunned.
And it's a long stun, too, so
Yeah,
he's stuck in there
is.
fighting it out. Crit just wiggles himself in, just casually picks it up as if it's no pressure at all.
And then S4, the big 2-man stun. What a crazy, that was the exact same fight as the Roche before. The Global comes up halfway during the team fight, just like the other one, and this time EG comes out even farther ahead. And Spectre is caught up to the Lunan farm, 1,000 down, and wow.
The net worth has tipped.
And you see that
other
deep
way.
breath there. Deep breath. Crit's like, all right.
Just another day for Crit. Just another day, I guess.
It is. This man's a beast.
First time in a while, at least we've seen personally, Grant, the net worth had shifted all the way over to the other side now. It's EG who hold it with a 2K advantage.
And Crit has an Aeon disc, by the way, flying on the chicken to him. So this guy, if they try to burst him instead of someone else, guess what? You just can't. He's an Aeon disc. How does LGD? They got to say, you got to get that butterfly. And the Dota buff probability. Look at that. It's not too bad, honestly, for the Radiant side with a Spectre on their team, right? We know the AI loves Spectre quite a bit, so I think Radiant actually doing pretty well. And if he gets this butterfly, Luna can just stand and fight you. Like, EG does still have to play these fights better. They have been, but, you know, one missed team fight, EG could just crumble and lose their base to a Luna.
Both sides going for a butterfly. Arteezy has one queued up as well. Here we see Crit. That Aeon disc is going to get popped. Heads back up to join his comrades at the top of the hill. Maybe he's thinking about moving forward. They drop the obs, and he blinks on forward confidently. Able to get the grab onto Fly. A good snipe from Maybe there.
The rest of them will get out, it looks like.
As long as he's dead, there's no global. Now he could buy back and quickly pop it.
God, Crit playing so dangerously here bottom. You don't know where there's an observer, a sentry ward. You just don't know if you're noticed right here, but he's willing to take the risk to cut this wave. Let's keep you out immediately after the bugs.
Smoke from LGD. They do want to take advantage of that window. Arteezy's mid. Pops the Manta. There's the RP. Can they burst him down? There's the buyback. There's the global. Here comes EG for a response, and they got a huge coil. Here they go. Flopping away. S4 trying to find his way out. They back away. Big heal from Nova. He heals it up. Sumail, though, able to get the finish on FY. No one really finished yet, but here comes the work. Arteezy able to slash him down, but yeah, S4 gets the stop. There's the finish. Ame down. 2 minutes, no buyback for the Luna.
Oh, here he goes in.
Toss
Maybe
combo,
though.
maybe.
Did he get him?
Big
the
finish.
Mastodon. But he gets it.
Maybe.
That's, yeah. I mean, you get the Spectre just, but they might just end the game here. They know Tiny doesn't have buyback. This Luna, they know Luna doesn't have buyback. They don't have the best building hitters on EG, but you know both cores have nothing.
Anyone who has a buyback is forced to use it now, and that's only FY.
Oh my goodness, and here we go. They're just gonna push the base. This should be, all tier 2s are down. They could go for the Megas, they could go for the Throne. They could. I mean, it's 70 seconds without 2 cores. And if they find FY, he just die back. The game might be over if he dies, and he's dead.
FY's gone. Can EG close this one out? They can get the tower and go for tier 4s if they want to.
They don't really have the best damage.
They get the tower and they go for tier 4s.
Will they just end it here?
They're going for the jugular.
Oh, the tombstone's down, but look at this. They're just going to kill it off with these illusions. And you're X-Nova, you're undying. What the hell do you do in 45 minutes?
You can only spawn a tombstone. You can't spawn a new tower to help out.
And there we go. Both towers. I think it's just,
oh,
is it just over?
LGD, are they watching their tournament life
it feels
be taken away?
Oh, Chalice goes for the skewer. He can't get it. X-Nova
this
just
is
gonna die. He
LGD,
wants to get a tombstone. It's over.
They go from 2nd at TI to 6th at the Major. This one belongs to EG, and they will face NIP in the next round.
I don't know what we watched. Well, I do. It was all of EG playing like a god. Crit specifically. Crit won him so many team fights. Just over and over. Not only 2 Aegises stolen, he gets multiple time-lapse saves. And then just just Spectre, hey, I'm going to die, but guess what? I'm going to suicide for this kill. I'm going to buy back and end the game. The decision-making from EG today looks like a whole different EG from even the group stage.
They knew exactly what they had available to them. You mentioned there they were confident to be able to dive, kill, buy back. Same went for Fly. He was taken out of the game. LGD thought that was their time. They had no global to worry about. They could move forward, but EG just responded, bought back, and turned it right over, and because LGD had nothing else to offer,
and
that was it.
I know, and Sumail on the puck, right? Like, he was down on the Tiny, but he was not, like, ever overly down on his Tiny in this matchup where he should probably be getting solo killed over and over. And Fly, as you said, we have seen a lot of bad global silences that just, you use it, it costs you the game. Fly did not have one bad global, and to say that as a silencer player, that's pretty damn good.
Really impressive stuff for EG on that one. An exciting game indeed. And we're going to be done right now. Fantastic work, Grant. It was a great time. Let's throw things back over to the panel now to get their thoughts on that series and EG's win.
We wanted a closer game of Dota 2, and I think we just got it. Evil Genius is still victorious, and they take the series, but LGD, they put up one hell of a fight. And here to discuss that second game, we got Kyle, Black, and BSJ. Kyle, first of all, let me also congratulate you on getting a prediction correct.
No, production actually ruined it. They changed me to LGD. I was trying to give us a game 3, and they just take matters into their own hands and just mess with fate.
You also wanted a great game of Dota 2, and I think that was definitely it.
I would agree. That was much more what I was expecting. A lot of really small mistakes, just little timings, like in that second Roche fight, like Satanic being activated, I'd say just a tad early. He catches a stun, doesn't actually heal to full. The Aegis steals. It's really just a great game.
I like to see teams win or lose based on the team fights, the exciting moments in the game. I feel like the first game, LGD didn't even give us a game. They did so much wrong in general, outside of team fights, that the game was kind of just over. In that game, they had the game, they were in control, and I feel like sometimes it's just as simple as not pressing your BKB when you get Centaur stomped. Like, those fights would have gone completely the opposite way, but I think EG played the fights incredibly well, especially with the Weaver Ags.
Yeah, I think the Weaver Ags, the Centaur, they did exactly what OG did at the TI. When you pick the Spectre lineup, focus on peel, damage reduction, and they have that. If the Spectre gets jumped and gets Weaver Ags, you actually can't continue fighting anymore because Dispersion is going to deal so much damage.
There's nobody better at stealing strategies than Bulba himself.
That's true.
Why do you think they kept doing that though? Like he solo RP'd the Spectre a couple of times, even after the Axe.
Yeah.
And they just kept doing it. Like, what could be like the reasoning for it?
Your guess is as good as mine. I feel like he's just not. Chalice wasn't as comfortable. Like you can see how good his game is at this point, 3rd in net worth. But the game ends, he's like 8th. He just fell off hard. I liked the Greaves decision, but I felt like he should have just doubled down, gone full team fight. I don't even know if you buy a Blink Dagger in this game, to be completely honest, just because of how negated your RPs become once that Ags is up. FY Rubik, man, unbelievable player, just not enough to take the game, unfortunately.
It looked so promising for them too in the early stages. We talked about the draft and how LGD, their goal was to basically choke out and deprive EG of farm, but they couldn't force them off the map. EG just kept coming at them.
Yeah, there was both Roche fights. This was that second one, or is it the first one actually?
It's the first one.
Yeah. They don't take the fight properly. You have Mag blinking forwards to skewer with the Tiny, but Luna's still in the pit hitting the Roche, popping ultimate. If you just commit one way or the other, either force EG into the pit and on top of your tombstone, or chase out after, either one's probably going to work, but they just felt uncoordinated, not to the extent that, oh, they're a bad team, but just they're not as crisp as you need to be to take out a top 3 squad like EG.
But it's like the story of the series. I feel even in game 1, there were so many like uncoordinated team fights where they would just like go in one by one and do their own things. Even now, like you RP, and then you still hit Roche as Luna. Like you score them in, you still hit Roche as Luna. Like I don't understand why or like how that happens, because like the team communication was completely off. And the fights were still so close, even though the communication was so off.
Yep.
I just feel like when I watch these type of games, one team just looked better throughout the entire, like even though EG, like it looked like a close game, they were just behind the entire game. And when you have like a better team that's behind, I feel like the game looks like this, where it's like a constant struggle to pull back in. They rely on 1 or 2 big mistakes, maybe even more from LGD. They're all little things though, and that's what makes these tier 1 Dota teams.
You see them blow like the entire load on the Spectre.
Yep.
I didn't like the Luna pick because of that. They had Tiny and Magnus, very committal heroes. Like again, then you have this Weaver Axe. I feel like if they had picked a more like in and out kind of carry, like one that weaves in and out of fights, not really committal like the Slark or the Anti-Mage, something like that that can disengage. I think that might have gone better for them against the Weaver Axe.
I mean, we all agree that Luna probably wasn't the perfect pick for us,
It's an Ame hero.
They should be able to just like amass much more gold. They were actually behind in gold at this point, and I feel with their lineup, they can't play behind against the EG's lineup.
And to your point, a lot of that goes back to the itemization, where you had both Tiny and Luna and Mag. Like they're not really going scaling items. They're going for the fights now. Luna went BKB 3rd item. Tiny going for a heart before a Daedalus. Just no Silver Edge picked up. You don't really have that power to take these fights. Why not just get that acceleration, secure an Aegis, and then look to close a game? But they're all in on this idea that we can fight now, and it just felt like they felt the pressure that wasn't there.
I actually thought that Tiny should have just gone like Blink into Silver Edge, like then BKB Daedalus or Daedalus BKB, either way. It just felt like he wasn't really a threat in teamfights. He initiates and he doesn't die, but he doesn't do anything.
He didn't even have a BKB in that game.
He did not, yeah.
And he had no way to cleanse the global silence. And we saw in that one engagement where Ame kind of walked up the hill into Centaur. When Tiny just gets silenced, like that's it. Ame maybe just ditches the fight.
Yeah, EG seemed to know that they won fights if they went more than like 5 seconds.
Yep.
And so it felt like EG should build tanky, but then on the other hand, LGD should be building to win the fight in the first 5 seconds.
Yep.
Instead, like they just didn't, honestly.
Yeah, they built for like sustainability. You don't go hard if you expect to win a fight early.
You don't win long fights against Spectre, Centaur. You just don't.
That's a good point. Especially with a Weaver Ags in play. Level, what is it, 18-second cooldown when it's level 3?
16,
16.
I believe, yeah.
Like, come on.
I think it's safe to say that Evil Geniuses won not based on draft or anything like that. They clearly were the better team here. And that also brings us to deciding who is the MVP of the series, not just the game, but the entire series. And we all agreed that it could only be a one-man. It could only be a crit. Of course, especially his Weaver play in that second game was amazing, but overall his performance, I mean, the whole team performed really well as well.
Yep. It was certainly a team effort. I don't think anyone underperformed, but after those, 1 Aegis steal, all right, you're a cool kid, but 2, you got to give a man some props.
They actually got the cheese and the Aegis in the second fight, yeah.
Really good timing on Weaver Axe too. Like, I mean, on the ults, like it's not as easy as just pushing the button. You have to wait like the 5 seconds and make sure it's where you want your carry to be relocated to. Always in position to save him.
Yeah, and not like when it's half health, but rather when it's like 25% health.
Yes.
So make best use of it.
Bait it out as long as possible.
Yeah. Then of course his axe in game 1. Perfect initiations a couple of times. A lot of good dunks. Can't say much. Crit's pretty good at Dota.
He kind of is. His whole team is pretty decent at Dota too. This is some of the player perspective from Crit, of course. In the first game, he was playing the axe. He had some amazing calls. He also sometimes gets stuck in the black hole. That was him too.
It's all part of the play.
Yep.
If you're not low HP and do plays, then that's cool.
It looks easy when you look at his perspective.
Cancel.
I could do that.
But that's normally the case, right?
Yeah.
They just make pro players, and I know you know this yourself as well. Everybody can see, you know, what should be done. The question is, can you do it in a fraction of a second?
It's a lot in the head, honestly. Like just anticipating what's going to happen, reacting to what's happening, and just like predicting what's going to happen in the next 2 seconds. So you're already in position to make the next play. All that stuff is.
You know, it's interesting. This is sort of an end of an era in Dota. We have a patch tomorrow. LGD, they've been the strongest team in China, but that whole reign was on this Dota.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's been quite some time since we had a big upheaval. Like, you can only expect that 7.20 is going to just change what works, possibly which teams are good.
Dota's just going to, you know, be a different game again. Not the same anymore.
It
That's
never
what we love
was.
about
It was already a different game since last week, and we're still on the same patch. By the way, one of the cornerstones of Evil Geniuses and of the series is, of course, S4. He's had some amazing plays. His offlane is always stable. And he is also the person that we will talk to in just a little bit, as we still continue watching some of the highlights. But I believe S4 is ready to talk to us. Hey!
Hi.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Gonna let the crowd cheer for you for a second. We've got a lot of fans out here. My first question is going to be that second game. It looked fairly close from our perspective. How was it playing for you guys?
Well, we got to decide where we wanted to fight that game, so it was kind of easy for our silencer to ulti that game. So, and also we were pretty confident in the carry matchup. Our TC versus Ame. We had the Spec versus Luna, so we were not super stressed game 2.
And what made that a perfect game for the puck? Because we don't really see Simil play that very often.
We kind of just needed a hero to make plays fast, so that was just an obvious pick for it.
All right, it worked out. I also got a panel couch full of people that would love to pick your brain for a little bit.
Well, I mean, my question, you know, it is November. You are adhering to Movember. EG, always one of the most confident teams. Do you feel like this is part of the reason you guys are succeeding? Because of the mustache and all the bravado it brings?
Well, I think half of us already removed it, so it's only me and Arthur now, and the rest, they shaved it.
Interesting. So does that create like some sort of discord? Like, are you guys okay, or do you, know, switch roommates?
We're not okay right now, but in game we're doing okay. Outside, we're not okay.
Okay.
Are you gonna keep it up? You can, you know, do the full November?
Yeah. It's hard, but I'm trying.
We'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
We'll hold you to that.
Okay, I'll take the most obvious question.
Go for it.
Since you guys only lost to one team in this tournament, which is NIP, I mean, I personally always thought that EG should be taken as serious. What did you guys do? How did you prepare? Like, mentally, did you think when you meet them again you're just gonna like own them? Because it kind of felt like you lost to yourself in that series.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a little bit more fire in us in this game going into NIP, and we've been looking a lot at drafting and stuff, so it's gonna help us a lot for our next games.
So you're saying you're gonna beat them 2-0 and it's gonna be easy?
We're gonna beat them 2-0, but it's gonna be hard games.
All right.
All right.
My question for you is, when you guys were sitting on the hill on the state game 2, like waiting for them to come up and farm on the Luna, like what's your communication like going, like knowing that the Luna could just BKB your stun? Like how do you know to just go?
Well, you can't have hesitation in those moments. So if he BKBs in that moment, then we adapt to the situation, like we stampede out or something. So if you hesitate when you jump, that's when it's gonna fail, in my opinion, so you just have to go.
So generally, if like he were to BKB, is there communication that goes on, or do you all just kind of know what to do?
Then you make a new call, like back, kite BKB.
That's really complex. I don't think BSJs understand.
Yeah, I lost
that's real high level.
I lost you
right
at
there.
the what if.
All right, thank you so much for taking a moment for us, S4. I know you got another series coming and you got some time to prepare for it, so I'm gonna let you go back to your team and do just that. And yeah, good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That, of course, was S4, Evil Geniuses. They move forward. We can take a quick look at the brackets. I know everybody knows what's coming today, but just in case you still want to have a little bit of a look back on what road the teams have made to get to this point, the